Well, good morning. This is our church, not to make a religious joke, but we have a intense, serious discussion here every single Sunday and have done so since 2014. Basically, the discussion is the idea of California gaining independence through some manner, perhaps as a territory, perhaps as a state with a return to 1700s level federalism, perhaps as an independent nation state as the 210 countries in the world, or perhaps as some sort of Scottish-style devolved government, where it effectively operates as an independent nation while retaining key linkages and umbilical cords through administrative functions to the host government. Bobby says you got me email. I'm not sure, Bobby, what email you're talking about. Anyways, we are here to talk about national divorce. That's all we're going to do today till 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, we have LaQuinta Reynolds, a homeless advocate and a personal friend of my own, one of the people that we have worked with on the event where we had 25 candidates agree to go out. We had 10 candidates agree to go out and meet the homeless. That was the only event of its kind during the recall election. We've also had a women's homeless debate, and we've had a larger homeless debate, and that was really good material. So we'll be talking with Quinn at 12, but we're going to spend the next hour doing the only thing that we're really about, which is providing you information that the mainstream media simply will not cover, which is going to be about how the topic of national divorce is now blowing up in the news. So national divorce is very big. We invented the topic here at Yes California in February 2018 with our Valentine's Day advertisement for divorce due to irreconcilable differences. We also mentioned specifically the phrase national divorce in December 2019 last year. So now the topic, 8 months later, after our last mention of it, and 3 years later, after our first mention of it. Hey, Quinn, I just mentioned you will get to our discussion about homelessness at 12, and we'll have a good talk about that. There's been a lot of information. Quinn has been on the ground following the information about the homeless event since before the recall election and after Gavin Newsom won that election. She's kind of a little bit of an expert, in my opinion, on the policies the governor has pursued after he won election, like rounding up homeless and kicking them out of camps, while saying that he's allowing millions of dollars of homeless funding that won't be activated for the next 2 years. But we'll get to that in about an hour. Sorry, Quinn. We have to talk about the main thing we talk about here at Yes California, which is the future of California. And right now, the topic of national divorce is trending very largely. Let me just show you a little bit of what's going on. So I've already done a few videos on this. Basically, what happened was a few months ago, there was a poll by Brightline Research showing that 47% of liberals in the West Coast here in California would be willing to break off from America. It also showed 66% of Southerners said that they were willing to do the same thing. Now, that poll came out in June. Nobody really paid much attention to it. We fast forward to Sarah Silverman, the comedian, saying, well, if people have different opinions on the vaccine mandates, let's just secede and separate. Now, maybe she made that as a joke, but she's a Disney actor. Disney did not condemn her statement or release any sort of statement about it. So I guess it's okay to be a representative for Disney and joke about splitting America up into many parts. That's what happened. Now, Sarah Silverman was backed up by many conservatives across America who started to support her. They said, I don't like you, so I agree with you. Typically people who would hate her. There were so many conservatives who backed up Sarah Silverman that the left newspapers started writing about how the right was looking into this. Then we had Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, not a big fan of hers, but she did run a poll with 89,000 people. A typical poll runs 3,000 to 5,000. So this is about 20 times the size of a normal poll. And it showed a lot of support for breaking up the country. Now, I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that that's the poll she did. And the fact is that that poll was mentioned by national media. And so it did have a lot of people outside of her fan base go to that. Now, around the same time as she did that poll, there was another survey from the University of Virginia Sabato Crystal Political Analysis Center that also showed continuing support for secession. 41% amongst all Biden voters said, let's have nothing to do with conservatives. And 52% of all Trump voters said the same thing. So you have a poll, you have a comedian, you have a bunch of conservatives talking about it, then you have another poll, And then you have a bunch of people in the media talking about it even further. The conversation basically erupted mid-month. It's still going strong into this month, as we at Yes California predicted. By the way, we were the only people to predict that. Everybody else said it's a fluke and it'll go away. We were the only ones saying, no, this is the beginning of a conversation and it will get larger. And we were correct. So let's cover some of what we're talking about real quick, just so everybody can be brought up to speed.
I like that tie, by the way. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't like her. Okay, so please don't call me and go, did you say? I'm not endorsing her. I'm just saying she did a poll. I got this green tie and I thought, Taylor Greene. Again, not endorsing her. I like that she did the poll. That's all I'm saying. So the first one is Blaze TV. This is Glenn Beck. He's talking about it's time for a national divorce. Then we're going to go to, here's another TV show with Jesse Kelly, Broken America, the coming national divorce that came out recently. Here's another one with Russell Brand in Europe talking about it, break it up, how to reorganize. He's going, America said, let's get a divorce. Harold.
It's official. America wants a divorce.
Okay, so you got Europeans now talking about it. Here's a St. Louis Today Tribune article, Red Blue divisions are real and deep, talking about a national divorce. You can't see this, but basically if you go to the Chicago Tribune, divided United States, Silverman Shapiro. So basically it's the Chicago Tribune is talking about national divorce. Here's Newsweek. I know you can't see that, but basically Marjorie Taylor Greene met with Steve Bannon, who worked for Donald Trump, to talk about national divorce. That made Newsweek this week. Here's the American Thinker on national divorce. Here's Town Hall, another conservative one on national divorce. Here's Michael Malice, another major conservative, talking about national divorce. And here's Jesse Kelly, another conservative, talking about national divorce. So let's go to comments from everybody. Bobby says, I emailed you the damage report video. Bobby, thank you. You were the guy that brought it up to my attention. Bobby, thank you so much. Hey, Bobby, you should come on the show. I'll see if I can email you a link and then we could talk. Thoughts, feelings from everybody. We got Robert, Quinn, John, Jason, and you in the audience will post comments. There's really no right or wrong answer. Is this a fluke? Is it going to go away? And and then the other question is, why now? I thought the election of Joe Biden was supposed to fix everything. He was the decent man to Donald Trump who would have a return to normalcy. He was going to show the, quotes, real soul of America. Why is it 6 months later? I think he's polling now at about where Trump was. Whether you like him or not, the guy's in the 40s. It's horrible. And why is it after 6 months, people aren't coming back together? Biden literally said there will be a calm. People will cool down. They'll come back together. He'll reunite America. All the Trump supporters will will that they're wrong. The world will see that he is the real America, and the real America will look nothing like Donald Trump's thing. We still have kids in cages. They literally had border guards whip black people at the border. Okay, none of those people got imprisoned at all. They all kept their job. So it's okay to do Trump-like things. Also, Biden kept the immigration cap on refugees. Also, Biden allowed the Russia gas pipeline, and he allowed the other pipeline from Canada. Also, Biden, when he became elected, told the top 5 African Americans who were civil rights leaders on a leaked Zoom conference, to hell with you if you don't like my choice of Tom Vilsack, the known racist, to be appointed. So that's a little bit too Trumpy. We pointed that out early on. Nobody wanted to hear that. Now he's doing as popular as Trump, and at the same time as his horrible popularity, the guy that was going to fix everything and put all the king's horses and men back together. Now there's a lot of talk about national divorce. Are these things unlinked? I mean, are we looking at the failure of America to put itself back together as was promised? And now people are realizing maybe it's not going to work because this was their big shot. Jason, John, Quinn, anybody, what thoughts do you got? I'm going to look for your email, Bobby.
I didn't want to jump ahead of anybody.
Go ahead, Quinn.
I can share some thoughts.
Yeah, ladies first.
I don't believe that this is a fluke. I think this definitely has been planned and it's being orchestrated as far as the divide. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that because to me, that's really contradicting and it's hypocritical to what America stands for. If we do divide or get divided, um, I don't care for Biden personally, but he was to me a better choice than Trump for various reasons. Um,
Of
but
course.
I do believe they're dead serious on trying to really separate the blue, to divide our nation, well, our states, as you were mentioning.
Jason.
I would counter, just friendly counter that a two-party polarized political system can never be anything but divided. I would say I feel the sentiment and I agree with it. It's kind of scary, kind of hard to see, hard to think about, but ultimately, the analogy of the Titanic comes up. When you're standing on the deck and the water is rising up over the deck, most of the lifeboats are gone. Yes, it's scary, but you have to make a choice right then and there. Do you run for a lifeboat or do you give up and die? I'm not the type that's down to give up and die. I will do everything in my power, legally and peacefully, to help ensure that at least 40 million people, I think that's a decent chunk of people. Would it be nice to be able to save them all? Yeah, but you can't. 40 million is a darn good start. I've never seen it as a fluke. I've always seen it as real, and I've seen kind of like waves lapping at the edge of the shore. The tide has been coming in, and we are nearly there at high tide mark. And once we hit high tide, our boat floats, and it's time to sail into the sunset.
Right, but Jason,
or we can stay stuck in the mud.
Yeah, Jason. So let me ask you specifically: do you think this is a trend that will continue, or is it a fluke? Is the discussion going to continue? Are people just mad and they're blowing off some steam, or are we looking at the rise of a dialogue that's going to continue at least for the next year? In your
going
question,
to continue,
okay.
and here's why, and not just in my opinion,
Please.
but I know because history tells us, history shows us. I can't remember the names of the people off the top of my head, right? It's still early in the morning, drinking my first cup of coffee. There were people who pushed to have California become independent long, long before any of us were ever born. Now, one of those people notably was a beloved local philanthropist type figure who was beloved not only by indigenous California, but non-indigenous or immigrant California as well. He really bridged the gap, right? Brought everyone together. And people wanted independence and wanted this person to be the person that, made it official and brought it together and, set the boat on the direction and get us our heading.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm getting a couple messages.
The whole independence push then didn't go through, but the guy had said something to the effect of, "If we don't do it, I'm gonna leave." And people like were begging him not to leave, and he left. And now this is an historic example that stays around to this modern day and age right now because I'm even talking about it.
I just saw a new person join. We're going to go to that person in 1 minute right after comments from Jason. So thank you for joining. We'll go to you in 1 minute. Please continue, Jason. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice. I got my phone sitting next to me. Welcome, by the way. So yeah, we can know that our current time, one day, 100 years, 200 years from now, people, even if we don't succeed in secession during our lifetime, people will be able to look back at this. Back then, there was no internet. The Pony Express was like the hot new thing. So,
okay. Hey, Jason.
Getting word out. I know. I'm cutting to it. Getting word out was very hard, and we still have the example. So our modern time, what we're doing here and now, having these videos going up online where people will be able to see, as long as the internet still exists in 100 years, people 100 years from now can hear all of these talking points. So, yes, it's going to stay around.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Okay, let's go to the new guest. Someone new joined us. Who are you, sir? Would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, hey. Awesome. Yes. I didn't realize it was you. You are muted. You're muted.
Sorry. I wasn't sure if you were referring to me or because I don't know who all's on the screen.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I wasn't sure.
But
yeah, no, I didn't join the other two meetings. I apologize that. Still dealing with some, personal issues, but I thought I'd join this one and just kind of see how things are going and kind of report from Brazil. Not really anything to report. I'm still waiting for the group Brasil Paralelo to evaluate my proposal to maybe do my series as a production to promote this very issue, secession, things like that, since this is a very new, this new constitution and whatnot, a very new movement here in Brazil. Well, very new to where like almost nobody's talking about it. But yeah, so I just wanted to provide that update because I think we all, South, how should I say, North Carolina, New Hampshire, Texas, you guys in California, I'm, here in Brazil. I think we all want very similar things for our respective areas. And so I like working together and I appreciate this opportunity. Again, thank you.
Well, let me ask you, from looking from the outside in, you're in Brazil.
Yes.
But I think you originally came from the state of Washington. You moved to Brazil.
Correct.
So you know about America. We had Donald Trump elected as president. And in California, 32% of Californians said they wanted to secede the moment that guy was elected. 47.5, according to Reuters Ipsos and Stanford University in February 2017, said they were not opposed to seceding from America in order to escape Donald Trump. That's almost half. Also, those surveys by Reuters Ipsos and Stanford University overcounted elderly Caucasians and undercounted Latinos under 35 by 50%. When we actually matched the demographic profile of California for 2017 to those surveys, 47.5 goes to 55% of Californians said that they were not opposed to discussing secession. Now, that's not full-blown doing it, but that's over half. The media has largely ignored that. They've made no sort of attempt to talk to them. But here we are. It's 2021, 4 years later. And everybody's talking about national divorce.
Yeah, I just watched Michael Malice's review of an article. I think an article that I'd heard about from you. I can't remember Instagram. I don't know where everything comes from. But yeah, he's very happy that national divorce is on the table and that people are talking about it. And And yeah, it's great that both sides, whether because, well, for whatever reason, the fact that it's there, and that's the topic. I think that's the most important thing is because like Michael Malice was saying, it doesn't matter how that happened. Well, I mean, obviously we want it to happen peacefully. It's important how it happens. But what I mean to say is people have all these questions, but how is this going to work? Well, that's what each movement can figure out. That's what New Hampshire can figure out. That's what California can figure out. That's what here in Brazil, if I'm successful in helping to do that, what we can figure out. That doesn't matter right now. It's getting this decision on the table and being able to say, look, people, this is what's going to be best for us. So let's just do it. And as peacefully as possible to where we help each other split. And then from that point forward, what you guys do is your business. What whoever does is their business. And that's beautiful. That's great. It shouldn't matter from that point.
Well, let me ask you, if I may, though, as a former American, as someone who understands America, as someone who saw the amount of tumultuous divide between Trump supporters and non-Trump supporters, and that it was supposed to go down and that it's only here, is this a fluke that 6 months after Biden was elected, America's still not united? No one thinks that. The right did not turn down and come back around. And Biden seems to have no ability to bring the country back together. Nobody really has a suggestion on how to do it. And now we have the topic of national divorce. I mean, is this a total fluke that you put all your eggs into one basket? This guy's going to be elected. He's going to fix everything. We're going to return to our normalcy. And now when it's obvious that has completely failed, the topic of national divorce is exploding like we haven't seen since 2017. Is this a fluke? Are these related? What do you think as someone who understands America and is looking from the outside in?
Yeah, definitely not a fluke. And just to clarify, verbiage. So I actually am still an American citizen, but I haven't lived there for 10 years, but just to be crystal clear about that. I say that simply because I feel that as an American citizen, I have a little bit more power, if for lack of a better word, to actually affect change.
Gravitas.
Certainly in the United States, but in my respective state, is that word option. But also Brazil kind of respects. I don't know why still, but they respect the United States, the type of thing. And so and my daughter, she has dual citizenship, so it just helps with her. So there's a reason for all that. But anyway, yes, looking outside in. As I might have mentioned before, I see the situation being very much the same here in Brazil. I mean, I've mentioned this before. We are all Americans if we're talking geography: North America, South America, Latin America, whatever. And certainly not a fluke. Again, it's something that has obviously come boiling up from the bottom, and it's something that has been long ignored because we've got the United States certainly has gotten away from this understanding that we are the united lowercase u states, countries, right? So all this is a return, not soon enough, and not I wish we had never left, but we certainly it's long overdue and something we need to certainly absolutely stop all the other discussions about like, no, we'll tweak this and we'll tweak that. That's for the states to decide individually once they're now, back to their independent, sovereign status. I just want to, with my TV series or in any way that I can, just get that discussion right out there and say, look, it's official now. We're all separate. California can be California. It's always been technically, it's always been its own country. Washington's always been its own country, all that kind of stuff. We just need to get back to that truth. Recognize that truth. Stop debating about all the, whiny little details that have been, just or that have been put upon and loaded upon and obscuring the truth, and get back to that, and then just from there let each let's each state do its own thing. So not a fluke at all. Something that is long overdue.
You're talking about this is a natural, organic return to the understanding that Americans had in the 1700s, the original colonies, that form of federalism. Quinn, thoughts, feelings, and then we're going to go to another poll.
I think what he said was well said. I definitely can relate to that, and I think that we are separate states. We definitely should operate accordingly or by that.
Okay, well, you heard it here. We have multiple people inside Cali, outside. A lot of us talking about the topic of national divorce and that it seems to be prescient and insightful, appropriate for this time. I want to go to a little bit of information now, show you something real quick. So this is the first image. This is the actual poll by Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it says, should America have a national divorce? It came out October 11th. Now, it had 2 days left. Okay, so see that? There's 2 days left. It came out about 14,000 votes. So when there was 14,000 votes, 2 days before the poll left, this is key, 14,000 votes, 2 days before. 51%, yes, let's split apart. 40% no, and 11% undecided. What that means is that that's 51 or half, at least of her base, saying let's secede. But this is really saying 62%, 2/3 of her base are not opposed. And remember, when we talk about a topic as big as secession, this isn't like a flavor of pizza toppings or ice cream. This is a big topic. And for people to say they don't know means they're open to the idea. So 2 days before, we're looking at 51% for, 62% not opposed, 39% against, 14,000 votes 2 days before. Now, let me show you one more thing. And then I'm going to ask for opinions. Okay, now here's the poll, and it's 11 hours before, and it basically stated this. So this, what you just saw was 2 days before. Now here, 2 days later, 14,000 to 80,000, 83,000. So basically 70,000 more people jumped on the poll from the one you just saw. So 2 days before, 14,000. 2 days later, 83,000. That's an addition of about 70,000 people. Should we secede? Drop from 51% to 43%. Should we stay together? Bumped from 43 to 48, and undecided is 9. So what I want to point out is the media was massively talking about this poll a day before it was over. So the idea that other people across America didn't see her poll and participate and it's just her followers is total garbage, because it was widely talked about and people definitely checked out the poll. And if you look at the numbers, we're going from 14,000 to an addition 70,000 within about a 48-hour period. We saw that at Yes California after we got major media attention. And our Facebook page jumped from 10,000 to about 44,000 within a week. So the sort of rapid rise in the participation levels within such a short time frame can only happen because of media focus. So want to point out that is a national poll. There was national coverage. A lot of people jumped in, and the difference in a 2-day period proves that. But I also want to point out that even with everybody jumping in, they couldn't get over half to stay together. Right? Her original poll showed 51%, let's secede. This one only got to 48%. So with 70,000 more people in, they couldn't even break half of the population said, no, let's not split apart. Additionally, when we add the undecided plus the yes, let's secede, that's 52% saying they're not opposed to secession. So you can't even break half against, and you have actually over half who are open to the idea, and that's with 70,000 additional people in a 24-hour, 48-hour period. Thoughts, feelings. Is this poll representative? Is it fair? Does it show what's going to happen? Anybody. There's no wrong or right answer, and this is a safe place where you can express your opinion. JG, I'm going to pick on you.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's a national poll, and yeah, it's interesting how just a minor drop, right? And they couldn't, as you mentioned, they couldn't even get half with 70,000, with almost 3 times the original amount that, or more that you showed. So yeah, I don't even know why it's even a question at this point. It's just, I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. Now, obviously here in Brazil, they don't have the history that the United States has. And so it's obviously a question, a serious question. It's like, what? Consider that? Really? That's a different state of affairs.
Sure.
And so unfortunately we're starting way behind the game. And I'm one of, very few, if any, even starting to question that, so we're way behind what, is going on in the US. But the US should serve an example. It's like, look, this is, especially since this is just a return. This should be like, we should be happy about this. And it looks like really over half, or at least half the people are essentially in some, deep place in their heart. It's like, look, this just isn't going to work. We need to get back to that. So yeah, I'm all, again, why is it even a question? Let's just figure out how. Let's talk. Let's have the conversation about how, not if. No. That's already been decided. It needs to happen. It just absolutely, governors. I don't know why any governor doesn't just stand up and be, okay, Declaration of Independence version 2. Done. I'm out of here. Why? I seriously, why? I don't understand. I really don't understand why that's simple.
Okay, we're going to go to Quinn, and then we're going to go to Robert, and then Jason. Quinn, thoughts, feelings?
I agree. The how. Let's work on the how, and moving forward. Definitely.
Any other thoughts? What did you think about how that poll shifted and didn't shift with so many extra people in such a short time frame?
I'm not surprised. Again, I wouldn't consider that really a poll. It was more of a questionnaire that she reached out. Those are her follower base or her follow base. So that really to me is irrelevant. That's just merely suggestions or comments. I would like to see it on a broader scale to get more of an idea of really where people stand with it, but on a different or bigger, broader scale than just her. Per se.
Sure, but her poll was covered by Newsweek magazine the day before it ended. So Newsweek goes out to everyone across America. Can we assume that
I haven't even seen it.
Fair enough.
I'm important or big, but I'm just saying.
Fair enough. There was mainstream coverage that was not conservative that talked about her poll 24 hours before it ended. Would it be fair to assume that some people who were not her followers saw many of these mainstream news coverage places talking about this and decided to participate in the poll, which would actually mean that her poll was not reflective of just her followers, but a larger representative sample?
No, you're correct on that. But a lot of times I'll get that information regarding Trump. If it's someone that I don't care for, I don't even go any further. So I'm not saying people haven't noticed it. Like I said, I may have even seen it, but just because it was her or if it was Trump related or anyone I don't really care to follow or, I don't even bother paying attention.
That's fair. Okay, Robert and then Jason. Thoughts, feelings? National divorce, trending, going big, polls with Marjorie Taylor Greene. What does it all mean? Robert, and then Jason. Robert Stark? Okay, we're going to go to Jason. We'll swing back around. Jason Wright, what do you think this all means? And then we're going to go to a presentation on homelessness with Quinn.
Well, so let me start by saying the answer to the question of why is the question of do we want the national divorce or not? Why is this still being talked about? Why is it still up in the air? Well, here's the answer. Disbelief. A lot of people have buried their heads in the sand for so long, and they pull their heads up to see buildings crumbling and nuclear wasteland. And they're in disbelief, and they want to just stick their head back in that hole. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that things have been destroyed long before I came around. The United States of America stopped being operated the way that the founding fathers wanted it to be operated. Not just slavery, I'm talking like the good parts of it, right? The parts of, anything more than two-party systems so that it never polarized, so that it's not divisive, and, they saw that there is serious potential for what we've got today, and they tried their best to negate that. And when you look at what they put together, it's pretty clear. But then when you cross-examine and you go from looking at what they wrote and what they put together to how it's all being run in the last 50, 80 years, it's very, very clearly not the same thing. I go back again to, yes, it's tough to see. It's a heartbreaker. But you have that choice to make in that moment. Do you stick your head back in the hole, or do you acknowledge your reality and try to figure out a way to survive and get through it? When it comes to the answer of the how do we do this? Well, the answer to that is, first and foremost, the message must be put out there. Second, it has to be the right message that resonates with the people. If it doesn't resonate with the majority of people, getting your message out there is falling on deaf ears or hardened hearts, neither of which are conducive to your cause. So what you want is the right message, put it out there, and once you've got it out there, you keep circulating it until, much like ripples in a droplet of water, they start at one spot, go all the way around, and end up meeting back at the point of origin.
Always a philosopher.
Once you've got your sounding board, you can see, like polls come out like this, right? And you sometimes have to be able to look at the stats and see these little hiccups and where people tried to influence, right? If it's something that's against the current established anything, you're usually going to have a lot of pushback. Because people who have power don't usually want to give it up.
Yes, I think it was Lord Acton, who was the first British lord in the 1800s to say that this peculiar institution of America called slavery was bad and wrong. He was one of the first British scholars to actually say that. He also was known for saying this: power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. What an incredible thing that the man understood that slavery was horrible and that governments never relinquish power the moment you give it to them. And he identified both as truths of humanity. Interesting man.
And they still hold true to this day.
That's the point, is this guy was going, slavery's wrong, and reckless government with unlimited power and no checks is also bad. I think we should listen to him. He was right on one. I'm betting he's right on the other. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He really got one right. Maybe he got this other one right too, because the guy was clearly thinking about freedom and liberty and the proper form of how to treat humans by other humans. And he said, governments will control and dominate people if you let them. And humans dominating other humans is wrong. That was his two big things. He said that like in 1830 before, and when he said it in England, they were like, whoa, buddy, that's really out there, So I always come back to that. Let's go to Bobby's question. We'll do this for 5 minutes, and then we're going to go to homeless with Quinn. So Bobby says, just because I like to, interact with the people who are calling in. So Bobby says, if secession were to happen in the USA, how would it happen and when, state by state, individually, or collapse of DC? I'm going to give my opinion, and then we'll go around. I don't think there's going to be a collapse of America. I don't think there's going to be a collapse of DC. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I do see certain states looking at chaos and recognizing that they could go it alone. So under Trump, California was terrified of the way that Trump handled COVID and literally told them, we're not going to follow your regulations and we don't care what federal authorities you have. We're going to ignore it. That was Newsom, and everybody loved him for doing that. Then we also said under Biden, I don't care what your CDC guidelines, we're doing our own things for COVID and kids. So that's 2 presidents in a row where California was like, I don't care what federal laws you have. I do what I want. We also did that with George W. Bush on stem cell research. We also did it with Barack Obama on the NDAA. Jerry Brown was famously the only governor in all of America to say, I will not sign the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, which allows you to intern civilians without a trial. So there are multiple instances going back every single president where California said, I don't care what your federal law is, I'm doing my own thing. When we look at Texas, they do the same thing. Now, you may have other states try to do that, but I think money and power comes into this. The fact is that Louisiana is never going to be independent, right? They can talk about it. They're poor. Look up a GDP by state compared to GDP by country ratio map, and what you'll find is that 40 states in America have a GDP equivalent to Central America, which means if they go independent, they'll run about as effectively as Guatemala. So when you go to Americans and go, hey, you know how you have that first world standard of living? You can have freedom, but it's all gone and in the trash, and you get to live like a third world country with abject poverty. Most Americans have never seen abject poverty. They only know American-style poverty. They've never seen third world poverty. It's a whole other level. Now, I've lived in the ghettos in South Central, West Sacramento, West Side Fresno, downtown Oakland, and it's bad. But it ain't third world bad. It's a whole other level. So I think when you go to Americans and you go, you can totally have your freedom and no one will tell you what to do. And you're not going to have good doctors for about half your population, which you've never experienced in 160 years. If you're cool with that, go secede on your own. I don't think most of them will do it when they look at the dollars and cents. Now, if you look at places like New York City, Texas, California, they could probably do it. There are a few states that have enough money and enough wherewithal to pull it off independent and keep a first world standard of living. I would limit that to no more than 4 states in all of America. So I really don't think people trying to leave, they're going to be able to do it. The best thing would be states would leave in conglomerations. Like a group of red states say, we kind of agree, let's leave together. So if you look at all the southern states, collectively, that's a powerful nation. If you look at all the left coast blue states, Oregon, Washington, and let's say you throw Chicago and New Mexico in there, that's kind of a powerful nation. You could have a first world standard, but individually on their own, it's New York City, Texas, California, period. That's it. Everybody else goes Guatemala poor, day one. So I don't think we're going to see a disintegration. I could see 1 or 2 states that are very large and have their own policy preferences saying, you guys are too big. And this is what we always said at Yes California. At some point, you have a child and you raise them and you love them, but they're 18. And they want to have girls or boys or they over. And you're as a parent, you want that to happen, but you don't want that in your house. You're trying to go to sleep because you got work the next morning. And they're like, hey, Mom, I'm trying to meet my future wife. I have to party till at 3 a.m. I have to work at 5 a.m. You ain't partying in my house. So what we're going to do, Junior, is we're going to get you your own house. And then you can come and visit Mom on Thanksgiving. And when I call you and I need a hug, but you're going to have your own house. And you know what? Have boys, girls, whatever you want, party till you want, but you pay your own bills and you take care of yourself and you keep that mess over there. And as my mom used to say, I don't want to hear that or see that. I know it's happening. Keep it over there. When you come and see Mom, I want to see a 1950s sweet boy. Okay. So, and if you're lying to me, fine, but don't tell me you're not lying to me. Just do it. That's the way I view this. Is there'd be some states going, look, it's just too unwieldy. We love you, but we're going to go do our own thing because we have too many. We need to do it this way. So you do you. We're just moving out of the house. We're going to have a house down the street. I still love you. We're going to have Thanksgiving together. But Mom, Dad, I really don't need you. You know, it's 2 a.m. and things are going well. And you open up the door to my bedroom and you're like, Junior, throw the trash. That ain't working. Right? That's really not working for me. So that's how I view it. I don't think it has to be a bad thing. And I think we really only have a few teenagers who could graduate to adulthood. I'll leave it there. We're going to go to homelessness. Gesundheit. Jason says Gesundheit to you, Quinn. I say Anunnaki because my family was Mexican Catholic on one side and deeply religious, and then Southern Baptist Convention on the other, and a lot of religious arguments. So I believe that if I have to pick something, I'm going to go with the ancient alien hypothesis, that there were ancient aliens who came back in time and helped us out. And I know that sounds a little bit silly, but the documentary evidence of ancient aliens is as strong as God. So I've looked into it. If I have to pick something on faith, I'm going with that because I like sci-fi, not really because I believe. So Quinn, to you, my version of God bless you is may the Anunnaki bless you. I hope you can see that as a joke. Face palm.
I know.
All right, now that we've laughed, we're gonna get into something super serious. So we're transitioning over. We at Yes California believe California is great, and we believe it's a nation, and we want it to be independent because we think that we could do better. But we're not idiots. Obviously, there's racism. Obviously, there's poverty. Obviously, there's income inefficiency. Obviously, the police are not treating all the African-American people equivalent to everybody else. And in certain cities, Latinos, as I always like to say, there are certain cities where people who look like me get shot at the same rate as black people. And we didn't do anything wrong. So it's real. Latin people just aren't as aware as African-American people, although we should. That's our fault. We need to step up. Orale, gente. Hear me? But, and I've been racially profiled myself. That's why I do the informal meetings in a tank top. People are like, why are you so casual? I go, when the cops start harassing me because I look Mexican and sweating on a bad day, then I'll stop wearing the tank top at meetings. But until then, that's me pointing out that I love California. And I think if we're going to get to the promised land, we'll do it first before anywhere else in America. But I don't want people thinking that I think it's all good and we have no problems and it's fine. So part of our balance is we're celebrating California. We think we could do better. We think if we were independent, we'd have to have the grand epiphany, which means, you know what, if when you saw the Jews come out of World War II and they moved to Israel, there was a 10-year period where they turned into Israelis. They stopped being Jews and they started being Israelis. They called themselves Israelis, but it took about 10 to 15 years before they go, I'm an Israeli. And they had to literally retrain themselves and go, we're launching a nation. We can't do certain things anymore, like guilt trip ourselves or not think we can't do this and that. And other things like traditionally Jewish people hadn't gone into certain fields and they go, if we're launching a nation, we got to have comedians, doctors, nurses, teachers, everybody. So if you look it up, there was a 15-year period where oh my God, we're actually moving out of mom and dad's and making our own house, where they got their act together. We think California being independent would cause a similar epiphany, and we do better. But before we get there, we're going to talk about how here's a persistent problem. We're going to cover this for about 15 minutes, and then do Q&A with Quinn for about 5. I'm going to show some of the articles Quinn already has lead up, and then I'm going to shut my mouth, and we're going to go to someone who's vastly more intelligent on the subject than Quinn, my personal friend. Quinn, let me show you a few articles, and then we'll go to you. Let's cover this real quick. And I hope I made sense as to why we do this. So if you type in LA housing, homeless housing COVID program to end, here's another one. California put homeless people in hotel rooms. And then what happened? Project Turnkey. Another, a ballot measure on homeless that will not help the homeless people by the Times editorial board. Here's another article. And all these come from Quinn. She's a researcher. And as I call all of you guys who I love, a ferret. I give 2 compliments to people. If you're a hard worker, I say you work like a Mexican. And if you're great at research, I say you're a ferret. I don't compliment. Yeah. Seattle residents demand police chief address homeless camp as vaccine patrols. Homeless encampment along White River battle advocates for the residents and nature. 44% Black Cubans homeless in Miami. Interesting. Why just the Black Cubans and not the light-skinned Cubans? And here's Mark Ridley Thomas. I mean, I get what you're saying, Quinn. I get it. Ridley Thomas, homelessness now carries weight of bribery charges. Quinn, let me shut my mouth. Educate us. I'm ignorant. Act like I'm 5. What's going on? No, I always say talk to us like I'm 5 because there's people like I didn't get the. What's happening? I'm gonna jump inside your head and guess you're gonna say we're not fixing the homeless situation and not everything's perfect. Am I getting that right?
Yes, or better yet, rephrase that: what's not happening.
Okay, well, I'm going to admit it now. I can peer into human people's minds. You literally saw me do it right there. I accurately predicted what Quinn was going to say. I'm joking, but let's go to you.
Well, you're right. Again, my thing is what's not happening. What's not happening is the resolution of homelessness, resolving that issue. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse. My biggest concern is, if I can be candid,
Yes.
as you mentioned, I showed you videos of how they're clearing out the encampments. It's not just going on out here in Antelope Valley, Los Angeles. It's just, my biggest fear is, what is their agenda? What is the agenda behind this? And I say fear because, like I shared with you openly and honestly, and I hope this never happens, but I imagine, and even, oh my God, what was his name? Kevin
Paffrath.
When he even mentioned getting military involved,
Yep.
Is that mentality broad? Like, are they really considering rounding up homeless people and doing what with them? Taking them where? I just don't, that the military involvement is my fear. Why do military need to be involved? And what are they going to do with them or with us? I may say, because I'm homeless myself. So my concern is, I believe homelessness can be resolved. There's no denying that. The money's there, the funding's there. As you shared articles before, funds have been mismanaged. Let's just use that term. But even with Project Room Key, people can't just walk up and get these services. Why is it so hard for homeless people to even get access to these services? And what he's allowing, or he's saying that he's giving to homeless people. He's saying that we have to have a caseworker, we have to have a referral, but majority of homeless people, they don't have Medi-Cal or insurance. They don't have a caseworker or a social worker. So it's kind of like a catch-22. This is what you need to do to get it. But if you're saying this is available and I'm entitled to this, I'm not even presented the opportunity to get these services or to get it. It's kind of like an oxymoron to me. Oh,
We just showed you some video originally taken by Quinn. The first two videos you saw were the Lancaster police helping city or county officials remove a homeless camp by destroying it to the ground and removing everything. This was an event where we had the invited 25% of all registered ballot candidates, and here's some of the candidates themselves who actually came out to talk about homelessness with Quinn and the unhoused, and that was a great meeting. So you saw video footage of Quinn documenting people being removed. You've seen Quinn working with candidates to talk about the issue. We've also shown you, I think, about 10 different articles showing. Quinn, let me jump ahead and you tell me if I'm getting this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you've been telling me, because we've been talking on and off, and I said, let's do another show or let's talk when we get a little bit more data, because I thought there might be more data. So what happened was Newsom was running for recall. 2 days before the recall election, he cleared a homeless camp, pushed everyone out, wiped the street clean. We have no idea where those people were or if they were provided services, and it was to make a hip hop rap video.
Let's be clear, they were not provided services.
They were not provided services. Thank you for correcting me. Then Newsom smiled, and that was all in the newspapers 2 days before the election. Then he wins the election. Then right after the election, about a week later, Gavin Newsom is announcing how he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars to fix the homeless program. And it was all over the news and all over government emails. I had some friends send me actual California state government emails showing that they were announcing, look, Newsom's spending hundreds of millions of dollars on homelessness. Now, when I showed Quinn those articles, she goes, why does it say it takes 2 years to implement the money? We have a problem now. And that's buried at the bottom of those articles. Second thing was that while Newsom is in the news for spending hundreds of millions of dollars on homelessness, another curious thing started to happen that I myself missed until Quinn pointed it out. She's like, then we removed the homeless camp here in Lancaster, and they said it was the local police. But then 2 days later, they removed another homeless camp in San Diego. And then 2 days later, another homeless camp in Oakland. And then 2 days later, another homeless camp in Sacramento. And then 2 days later, another homeless camp in LA. She goes, isn't that interesting that every few days, the locals, completely unconnected to Gavin Newsom, are choosing to remove all these homeless camps, and it all happens within a week after the governor saying he's spending all this money to fix the election. And just to make it juicier, the issue that Gavin Newsom did the worst on during the recall election was homelessness.
That's hard.
75% of Californians who voted for him said he sucked hard on handling this one issue. He's going into re-election. So is it a coincidence that the one issue the governor did horribly on, he's now saying, look at all the money I'm spending. Yeah, don't pay attention to the part. It won't be active for 2 years. But by the time the election comes up in about 8 months, you're not going to see any homeless camps because I literally moved them all off. And I bet he's thinking about low education voters who are going to hear, Gavin spent hundreds of millions on homelessness. I don't see camps in my town. Therefore, Gavin fixed the camps. When he did not fix the problem, his solution will not come on board for 2 more years. And we do not know where those people are. All for show. Yes. So that's one of the homeless. That's one of the advocates.
Hey, it's Cassandra.
Yeah. All for show.
Hi, Cassandra.
She liked you, by the way, at that homeless event. You'll have to check out the video so you can find that. Let's go to Quinn. Am I wrong? Am I saying something we haven't said? Please correct me. Am I getting this wrong? Did we not have this conversation? Do you not think it's going this way?
No, you're on point. And like you said, it's pretty much sweeping it under the rug. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And clearing out encampments is exactly what they're doing. They're sweeping it under the rug. And where are they? Like you said, where are these people? Where are they going? And people assume that they're placed in homes because they're telling us they're placed in, housing or shelters, but they're not being specific on where they're being placed. There's no proof that they've been placed in housing. I can tell you anything, but how am I supporting that?
I think we all agree with Cassandra that he's just making it look like he makes an effort. And I got to say thanks again to Quinn. And I got to say thanks again, to Jason and to Cassandra. I've called each one of you ferrets. And a lot of times people think that I'm well-informed and I'm all up on it. Not true. I just talk to a lot of people and go, if I say something dumb or I'm ignorant, please tell me right away. Quinn, and I said that to you, Quinn, 2 weeks ago, and you go, I think you're a little bit harsh, but look what happened. You keep that's all I had to tell you. And you were like, article. I'm ready. Let's do another show. I got the doc. Because I pushed you. I pushed you back a little bit. You're like, let's do another show. And I pushed you, and I think it was a little bit rough, but I think we got a better product. I was like, I'm going to push you, Quinn, to get more data so we have a stronger show to make a stronger case. And maybe that wasn't what you hear, but I think we made a better product.
Well, remember the videos that I was recording when I spoke with the guy that was running the clearing of the encampment from LA Housing, and the people I spoke with that were actually having to move out of their homes or their place of inhabitant. And I don't know if you remember that video from that one guy when he made a point, like, they're protecting people with this eviction moratorium from losing their homes. But how come the homeless people aren't getting that same protection? Like, is home only just applied to if you live in an actual house or a hotel? How do you define home? So you're protecting these people from losing their home, but first of all, you're not even providing housing for us, but you're not protecting us from the homes that we have inhabited, as well. So is that fair? Is that some form of discrimination? And I definitely do believe homeless people are discriminated against, obviously. But he made a valid point with that statement, and I was speechless when he brought, because that was a valid point. You're protecting people from losing their homes, but we're not being protected from losing ours.
Right. So if you have a home, they want to keep you from being homeless. But if you're already homeless, they're ending Project Turnkey. And by the way, I talked to 2 different people who were rejected being able to participate in that program, and they were decent humans who were not drug addicts who wanted to set up a meth lab and work with the cartel. And I was like, why aren't you getting into this? You're a decent person. I know you're not an addict. I know maybe you have a few issues, but you're not going to trash the place. So I knew 2 people who couldn't even get into that program here in California and who largely stayed homeless. So that program did not, from what I saw, affect everybody. And they ended
30 people.
30. So exactly. So this problem didn't even work. And it makes sense that Gavin Newsom was polling at like 75% against his handling on homelessness when he was polling well on everything else. Like his handling COVID, his handling homelessness, total opposite. So he's jumping on this. The other thing, Quinn, that got me was, and you pointed this out to me, You misspent billions of dollars in COVID-19 relief funds that got people homeless. And now you're saying my solution to the homeless problem is a couple $100 million? How do we know you're going to do that right when you just screwed up a couple billion and exacerbated people going into homelessness? That's not a Fox News talking point. That was on PBS. COVID-19 money came. It was there to keep people from going homeless. Gavin Newsom mismanaged it in the billions of dollars, and additional people went homeless. He also mismanaged billions of dollars of surplus money going to cons in prison. And now he's saying, trust me, to fix the whole situation, I will properly spend $300 million. Why should we believe he's going to do this correctly?
Well, I don't. I can't speak for everybody else. I know he won't because he hasn't. And to circle back to your question of the two people you know that aren't getting it, why aren't they? Again, these are private locations, and only to get involved or to even get the services, you have to have a referral. It's a referral base to get into Project Roomkey when it was up and running. It started March last year, and they ended at the end of July or August. Don't quote me on that date, but I believe it ended at the end of August or July. But you need to have a referral, whether it's law enforcement, healthcare provider, or a social or caseworker. And again, majority of homeless people do not have any of those at their, those services.
I'm Latino. This is going somewhere. And my grandfather is here illegally. He came illegally, and he ran an auto body shop and employed a lot of the youth that were in trouble. And he was started a business and produced my mom, which made me. At the same time, while I'm sensitive to this issue, perhaps more than I should be, and that's fair, I will not lie. The fact is that 200,000 people from Mexico were allowed across the border by the Biden administration, and Jen Psaki said directly that none of them have been tested for vaccinations, and they're all allowed to come in. And they have no idea where these people are going. Latin America is a hot spot for COVID, partly because America refused to ship them the COVID shots under Biden. So the populations of people dead from COVID in Africa and Central America and Iran and India is through the charts because we refused them as an American government to send them COVID shots. That's horrible, but why bring people from a hotspot into the area when you're taking away our rights on COVID and insist that they don't need to have their inoculations? Now, again, I'm all about, I have family there, I'm sensitive to it, but 200,000 undocumented immigrants or illegal aliens coming in at this time is a bad idea and will only exacerbate the homeless crisis and only exacerbate the COVID-19 crisis and not help the homeless who are dealing with COVID-19 now. So I want to admit that's there. I'm a little bit biased, but that wasn't right. Yeah, and then what are they going to do with these people when it goes to winter? Like we don't know where these undocumented immigrants are going. Maybe they do have COVID, maybe they don't. I'm sure they're great people. You know that my heart's with them. But is this the right time to be doing this? We already have a homeless crisis. We already have a COVID-19 crisis. We are already not handling these things well, and the idea is to pump more in. Also the average cost for a month of rent for a one-bedroom apartment here is $1,400. I don't know if anyone coming up as an immigrant from anywhere starts off with $1,400 in their pocket, American currency, no less. That's what they're going to need to not be homeless from the start. And a lot of Latin people are going to go where there's existing Latin populations, which will be right here in California. So again, I'm sensitive to the situation, but I want to point out that, you're absolutely right. Everything has been done to step back further than ahead. We are not focused on homelessness. We are not dealing with it. We are exacerbating the problem. And, the homeless they're the most vulnerable, right? Because they don't get to isolate themselves. They don't get all the proper sanitation equipment. We brought soap out there. So these are the people most likely to get COVID, but they're American citizens and we're not prioritizing them. Now, again, I'm very, very sensitive. Maybe beyond what I should be. My family's Latin. I'm not going to turn on them, but not a good idea. 200,000 people from a hot zone in the middle of a homeless and COVID-19 epidemic. I mean, I completely agree with Cass on this. Like, are you trying to make it as bad as it possibly can be? Why would you do that? Also, this is the time where we're not going to get into COVID, but people are not handling the mandate well. Okay. There are police protests where they're going to shut down entire cities from cops.
Yes.
1/3 of the military has said they're going to not do this. So it's not going well. And this trying to force this on us in order to bring the COVID down while then injecting 200,000, possibly more people and spreading them out is not good. Lost myself there, Quinn. Bring me back, Quinn. Say something smart. So, because
Well, just to add to that, I think Albert Einstein said it best. We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking. So, I mean, we definitely need to, like I told you before, when they have all these with Texas, with the abortion laws and the conflict over there, I think the best people to advocate for homeless people are people that are homeless or have been there. So you need to get different people involved, more people involved. And it's one-sided. You can't just have one man dictating everything. And you see where that's getting us as far as the governor. I don't know if you posted that one that was talking about, mayor already signed the ordinance criminalizing homelessness, but the most recent one I showed you about them saying that they can't camp, having encampments, they can't have tents or anything. It's getting, like I said, it's getting worse. Like I said, that to me shows that they're preparing for something. They're planning something.
we'll go through the articles real quick and you can point one out. I will acknowledge, yes. So again, kind of a difficult spot, but again, you all know me. Even when I have my own biases, I will not lie to you and I will not lie for my team. I've criticized the left. I work with the right, even though I'm somewhat progressive. I'm all about good ideas. And even when Trump was president, I didn't like him, but when he attacked China on trade, I said he's right. When he pointed out that NATO was not paying enough money, I said that's not being mean. These are rich countries. They can easily pay more. And don't believe for a second that Germany and France don't know what they're doing by going, we can't pay, you're racist, Trump. We need to keep that extra 1.5% of our GDP. That's billions of dollars. These are smart folks. They're playing us. You know, yeah, say whatever you want, but there are a couple things he said right. So I'm going to admit this is right. It's not a good look. A lot of people work hard to immigrate here. I love immigrants. I'm kind of a softie for them. I bought this coffee at this one coffee shop here out in Oxnard because it's run by some Asian woman who barely speaks English, and I love that. I love going to that place and going, hey, you know what? I bet you just got here or you're trying to adapt, but you're running a store, so you probably did it all legally, and you're starting a small business, and you're working hard, and I bet you're going to put your kids into school, and they're not going to have an accent. They're going to be spoiled brats and full Americans, but this is what it is. I just love immigrants. I love immigration. And yeah, it is better when you follow the legal system. And it's hard to tell people who spent years, went through the system, hey, this person who just got here legally gets everything you got. I have to admit that would not be encouraging. And we have many people from India and Iran and Armenia and Mexicans and El Salvadorans, and they aren't the immigrants that are complaining. That's fair. The ones who come here legally typically aren't the ones complaining. It's the ones who come here illegally are complaining. And largely because the idea is if I can come in illegally and once I get here, then I can set up residency. And this is the way California law works with driver's license. So if I demand more rights, then what I can do is I can push my illegal scheme to be as good as legal immigration. So legal immigrants come, they get all these rights. I can push California and push it and push it and push it to, there's some point where there's no difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration because the series of services by the government to the individuals is the same. So when they passed here in California, well, you're just pouring it on hard. I'm backing you. Whew. Wow. wow, they worked hard, started lucrative, and are proud of themselves for that. Yes. Legal immigrants came here. They worked very hard. They make California. They make us better. And I think it's privileged to live in a place where we're full of people who come here and work hard and keep their cultures intact, but also recognize the regional culture they need to fit into. I mean, I had a very good Muslim friend, and she was from India and was very traditional, but her daughter grew up here and was a Valley girl. And, she'd wear the thing on Sundays and, but then, the moment mom was gone, it was a Katy Perry music video because she grew up here. So, and she could speak fluent Arabic and everything, but because she grew up here. So I just love that people keep their culture intact, but they recognize California culture, and they did work hard and they did follow the system, and it is not fair. I'll admit that I'm still soft on the issue, but that's correct. While we're at it, I've been meaning to say this too. Minorities can be racist too. And minorities can be racist against other minorities and against Caucasian people. And we need to stop that because it doesn't fit here in California. We're a diverse place, and we need to respect everybody and all of their cultures. White supremacy is a scumbag disease. And I've personally gotten in the face of white supremacists, and I loved it. Took photos, loved it. Do it again. I love being the guy in a tank top because they're walking around all these beta males and Antifa guys and trying to intimidate them. And I just walked up and I just stared in their face like, if you want to do something, do it. I won't do it first, but I ain't scared of you, and I have no problem clobbering you right in front of everybody because you're backing us up. It didn't go that way, but at the same time, when Larry Elder was running for office, and I do not like him, Cass, I'm sorry, Quinn, I said I don't like him.
I don't either.
But that white woman with a gorilla mask, not okay. That was not right. That's not right. We should not have people who are not African Americans insinuating that an African American is associated with apes. That's racist. And yet it happened, and no one in California condemned it. So since we're doing really awkward recognitions, I'll do that. We need to be more fair to all of our people here, and we need to be more fair to the legal immigrants. If you do not work to earn something like that, you want to appreciate it for what it takes. That can be applied to everything in life. Yes, legal immigrants love this place. They work really hard because it took them a long time and it was difficult to get here. And they love California, and I love them for that. That's enough awkward statements I'm going to get myself into today.
Place. I mean, the whole world is here. That's what makes California beautiful. Well, actually, the United States, the whole world is here. We're a melting pot of everything. That's what makes it beautiful.
I'm going to push back on that. I agree with you when you said California, but I mean, Quinn, come on. If we go to Louisiana or Tennessee, you're going to tell me I can walk down the street and find a authentic Vietnamese, Mexican, El Salvadoran, and Arab restaurant? Because I could go to.
There's areas that are more predominant as far as ethnicities or cultures, like Alabama, So, but yeah, I'm just saying, just in general, it's because originally, we all come from different continents or different, part of the world, but everyone's in the United States, whether it's more here or there, but they're still here. California, I think, consists more of diversity than anywhere else, obviously, but that's why I love California: the weather, the beaches, and like I said, the whole world is here in California. Even though it's different going to Italy or somewhere else, because I do want to travel to see the world, but at least you get a taste and idea of that culture, or get to experience it.
I that's why I'm here. I mean, I know it's tough. I know. Look, everyone in California knows it's tough to live here. Okay. I love talking to conservatives in America. Like, do you guys understand how bad you are for business? Yeah, they all know. They just think maybe you have to do that because they've been tricked. Everyone knows it's tough to live here. But the reason that a lot of us live here is I've been to Texas, right? And they say Texas is diverse like us. No, they're not. I've been to Texas. No, it is not like this place. No, they do not share our values. I don't care if they have as many Latinos as us. They don't talk like us. They don't act like us. And their Mexican food sucks. It's called Tex-Mex. I already told Jason about it. It's horrible. So if you like the spice of life and the cultures, it's here. And they don't have that in the rest of America. I mean, go to Tennessee, go to Nebraska, go to Montana, go to South Illinois, and then tell me how much diversity you see.
That's true.
So I'm saying we're doing it here in Cali, but I want to point out racism against white people or white culture is wrong. Racism by any minorities against others is wrong. I'll speak for my group. I've seen Latinos insult Asian people. And I thought that was so stupid because they're like, look at how they don't talk right. Your grandmother doesn't talk right. The same people who insult them are insulting you. Do you not? My grandma, my abuelita, hated Hmong people. And my mom and them, it's a Southeast Asian group. They immigrated during Vietnam and came to California. And my grandma hated them. And one day we confronted her like, Grandma, you're like, and she's like, they all live 8 in a family in a house and they speak a language that's not English and you can't understand what they're saying. And I go, you say the same thing about Mexicans. What are you doing? What do you do? It's so dumb. So we don't need to do that. If we flipped everyone inside out, we'd all look the same. True. It's about perspective. True. And yes, okay. We all came from apes. Some ape humanoid came from that. And yes, in that way, Black people, Latin people, Asian people, everybody came from some sort of evolutionary train out of Africa from some sort of ape in here. True. But when you wear a gorilla mask around Black people, I mean, really, like, hey, if I was running for mayor, right, and I'm Marcus Ruiz Evans, and somebody goes, I'm just going to wear a giant costume of a bean. Is that cool? I mean, and they're like, hey, it's a vegetable. I just wanted to dress. Okay, but you did it when I'm running for office, and you walked right in front of me. Really?
It's in reference to you.
It's a reference, and
it's the wearing of the mask to go and heckle someone. It is a blatantly, overtly racist gesture, and that's why it's wrong.
And
if
I want to
I was to dress up as a gorilla for Halloween, there is nothing wrong with that. If I, on my spare time, wish to just loaf around, sit on the couch wearing a gorilla mask, there is nothing wrong with that. If I choose to don a gorilla mask to go and heckle someone who is African American, there is something wrong with that. There would be something very, very wrong with me.
And when you choose to, I think, dress in whiteface or talk about how white people are all one way, I think that also is bad and that doesn't help. And we could learn something from that familial binding. Okay. Manticore. I think that's a sci-fi reference. We all are human. We all came from the same lineage. They have done many genetic studies of humans. And one of my favorite things is look up scientific studies on how women are programmed to flirt. I'm not going sexist with this. I'm just saying look it up. They have found that women in Africa, in some isolated tribe, and women in Vietnam, and women in Europe all do this thing where if they like a guy, they go, and the hair flip. That's actually biologically programmed into the brain. They've done enough studies to go, these cultures are very different. Vietnam, Central America, Northern Europe, they have nothing in common. Why is it that when a girl finds a guy attractive, they all kind of go, because we're all the same species. Guys have other things to do where they raise their chest out without it. And you're doing this without even knowing it. So that's the proof that we're all humans. We all came from one species because we have these little idiosyncratic things that we do that it takes scientists to pick up like, wow, they do these across cultures. We also, if you look up Joseph Campbell, we have the exact same way of telling stories. So there's maybe 3,000 cultures on Earth. Every single one of them has the exact same arc of a story. Look up Joseph Campbell, all of our stories start at certain places and follow. That doesn't happen unless we think the same way. So we all are humans. Cass is right. We come from that, and we should recognize our common origin, and that we're people. We do have different cultures now, but I love the fact we're coming back to here in California, and we have to start being more cognizant of the other cultures and more tolerant. We just have to, and we need to erase intolerance as some sort of thing to do to fight tolerance. I've seen it where if somebody supports Trump and they're a minority, you can start calling them racist names. I don't think that's appropriate. I think that's going to go bad. Okay, way off topic, but important issue. Quinn, let me shut up.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I could say something to bring it back to the topic of homelessness.
10 more minutes on homelessness. Jason, Quinn.
Because I want to say maybe 20 minutes ago or so now, Quinn had brought up a great point of how do we know that Gavin's going to do anything good on the homelessness issue. And then Quinn, I believe you referenced his mismanagement of funds that would have actually been quite effective at handling the homelessness issue.
Yes.
I also point out to many folks, those who aren't familiar with the Bay Area, Marin County is one of the wealthiest counties in all of North America, not just California, in all of North America. That includes Canada. Marin County is one of the wealthiest. Now, partly because there's so much wealth, the wealth disparity is also the greatest. When looking, now I've lived up there for the better part of ever since 2004. I know the majority of society in Marin wants homelessness to be solved, to be addressed, to be solved, and not in a way that an extremist, neo-Nazi type, round them up with the military, gas them, right? Forced labor camps, all things that the Nazis did. And they didn't just do it to Jews. It was gypsies, homosexuals, poor people, homeless people, vagrants, right? Any political dissident, right? The first people they went after was the descendants of the royal family, because, can't have people rally behind someone else. A little off topic there, but when looking at Marin, the overwhelming majority of Marin society is sane and reasonable and compassionate and wants this problem solved. A lot of folks give a lot of money to charities and, an agency that's pretty much got a monopoly on all services in Marin. That's the agency that refused to give me a recommendation for the Project Room Key, even though I was laid up and should have been put in traction in the hospital. So how do they get away with this, given that they get funding from state and whatnot? Well, Governor Gavin Newsom, who recently sold his home in where? Oh, Marin County.
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, so he's now no longer a resident of Marin County. But at the time that he gave Marin County an exception, he was still an owner of a home there, still a resident or whatever, right? gave an exception for Marin County that they do not have to meet the standards, the minimum requirement standards to continue receiving funding for helping the homeless. Oh yeah, you're not really going to solve homelessness? Okay, hey, just take the money anyway. It's not like you need it, but here, have some more. And then we look at, those of you who've known me for a while know that I was going to run for mayor of San Rafael until this current medical crisis broke out. They closed City Hall and the clerk's office, and the only people who had any ability to get to the paperwork to file to run for mayor were people who already worked in that building. The then vice mayor, who is now currently the mayor of San Rafael, was the only person who had access. Ran unopposed, pretty much, right? They propped up one person who had announced from the community, one businessman, who actually, he would have stood a better chance had, things probably been a bit different. But I know I would have had most of the interfaith community, which is most of the money and voting power of Marin. And I couldn't even get there because I was held up by this person who is now in charge. What's the first thing that they did? Oh, to round up all the homeless people, concentrate them all together in one tight little spot underneath an overpass, a freeway overpass, where the drainage canal runs, where it regularly floods over the banks onto the roadways every year. And that time of year is coming up again real fast. And that's where she rounded them all up to. Oh no, homelessness isn't illegal. Camping anywhere outside of this designated area is.
Well, let me ask you guys real quick. Let me interject here real quick. I just want to point out, getting to this comment, people should be able to joke. I watched the Dave Chappelle special recently, and it was truly sad. I've watched Dave Chappelle. I watched all his specials. I love Dave Chappelle. I don't agree with everything he says, but he's supposed to make you think and laugh. There's a role for that. And I cried a little bit because real talk, I've grown up with that guy, and he said he's not doing comedy anymore. It's too tough. There's too much drama when he makes jokes, and he did his last special and he's walking out. So we are actively losing artists who are saying, I'm out. It'd be like Michelangelo, Da Vinci in the medieval times going, I make a painting and I get so criticized, I'm just done. And then we don't have the Sistine Chapel. And then we don't have the drawing for the first helicopter because they were afraid of being criticized for doing it. That's what's happening. So when people like Chappelle are saying, and that guy was okay with controversy. He's saying it's too hard. So I agree. Thoughts on Governor Reagan from Bobby? Governor Reagan started the homeless crisis here in California. He removed the social safety net and kicked all the homeless out of the hospitals. It goes back to him. You can talk to anybody. Go to Cast Blaster. This is the question I want to have for everybody here. Do you guys think that Newsom is actually dealing with the homeless crisis, or is he actively misleading people? Is he actually trying to fix this? The homeless crisis has been around for years. We came out of the recession with this. He came into the governor's office knowing this was a crisis. A year into his term, he basically had been doing nothing. That's what 2/3 of Californians felt. We're now 2 years into his campaign. Is he serious about the homeless crisis? Is he just trying and it's tough? Or is he lying and misleading to us and saying one thing and then doing another? Let's go to Quinn and then Jason.
I don't believe he's trying to do anything about homeless. I've openly always said homeless people are job security for politicians, and I stand by that. Again, I think he's sweeping it under the rug. Like, you don't see any encampments, and just to add a point to what Jason was saying, how he was saying that he's running them up. They're telling them, like, when they clear out their encampments, they're encouraging them or instructing them to go out to Avenue H. I know when you were out here, Marcus, you hadn't had a chance to go out. I haven't showed you around out here, but we're desert area. So you just saw how where you were, it's not as, we're not like LA. We're desert. There's very limited, businesses out here. H is officially desert. They're telling them to go out to the middle of nowhere where they don't have access to, there's no stores, there's civilization, access to water. Why are you telling them to go out in the middle of nowhere where they don't have access to anything? Because they don't want them here. So, and about my, the community I'm trying to do, my plan as far as, my nonprofit. So it can be done. I do not believe he wants to resolve it. He keeps saying it takes years and years and years, but honey, homeless has been around for years and years and years already. I'm just calling it like it is. I don't believe he's trying to do anything for homeless people. He, like you said, he's trying to make it, I'm trying to do something, kind of like make the effort. Like when you're trying to learn how to play a sport, you kick the ball. Well, I tried.
Well, there you go. You got Cassandra saying it. You got Quinn saying it. You have Bobby saying, let's just fire all the politicians and replace them with the homeless.
Yes. Thank you.
Wow. Bobby, there you go. Quinn likes that.
Who said that?
Bobby is a random fan. He just saw the show, thinks we do a great job, wanted to jump in. We've invited Bobby to the show. He wanted to stay in the background. We totally get that. Bobby and everybody, you're welcome to post comments. We'll post them up.
Bobby said the same thing I said. Who's better to advocate for homeless people than homeless people?
So let's go to Jason for a few minutes. Well, Jason, let me get your opinion on this one thing. Is Gavin Newsom trying to fix this? Is he just playing games? Should we replace all the politicians with homelessness? Is that the only way? Hey, Bobby, we respect that. There's a guy called Silent Mike that we have on the show every Tuesday. We get that you do not live in a free society in America. We do not have freedom of the press, and we have Chinese level style censorship. I can't tell you the number of people who said, Mark, I totally agree with you, but I'm going up for a promotion, so I can't be saying what you said. I thought we lived in a free society. I thought you were able to express your opinion. Why would you be worried about your job, your promotion, your house, your spouse, your newspaper job, your accolades, your friends? I thought we were out to express our opinion and people could accept that. We didn't say something racist. We didn't say violence. We didn't say anything use the system, but I can't tell you the number of people who are in our movement and will never appear on camera and never want to be recorded for fear of being punished for their opinion. Well, let me introduce you to two other countries where people are also equally afraid of losing their job or their riches, but where you can make those
North Korea?
Communist
China.
China and Russia. So they don't execute you anymore. I mean, if you say you want to overthrow the government, sure. But if you say things like maybe democracy kind of works, you just don't get employed. You just don't get that house. You just don't get that access to the university. Same thing in Russia. So good to know that America operates exactly like the freedoms of Beacon in China and Russia. Good company, everybody. And I totally get why you want to stay silent in the background. Just do me one favor while you're staying silent in the background. Please tell everybody that you still think this is a functional democracy, because I love the hypocrisy. So he's coasting out the remainder. Yeah, Gavin Newsom's coasting out the remainder. I think Gavin Newsom is going up for re-election in 2022. Homelessness was his one big issue, and he wants to be seen as fixing it or tricking everybody into that he's fixed it so he can coast into re-election. We literally just saw the guy almost get Larry Elder elected by telling everybody don't vote on question 2 because he felt it was a good strategy to ensure his election. So the man is so concerned about his own election, he's willing to wreck the whole system just to win by misinforming the California people. Dr. Shirley Weber, the highest ranking African-American politician in California and appointed by Newsom, directly criticized the governor for misinforming the voters about how they could not vote on question 2. Bad sign. Bad sign. It also is indicative of the kind of man we're talking about. I used to be a big Newsom fan, but I'm sorry. You do things like this, and it's hard to have your back, bro. It's hard to have your back. You make it tough. You make it real tough. Okay.
Yeah, so if I can answer that question, I also agree that Newsom is not really trying to, so here's my logic process. If I truly care about something, I really give a damn, then I am going to give it my all. I am going to put all of my thought, my brain power into finding the best viable solution. And then I am going to enact that solution because I truly care about the thing and I want to see it solved. Now, the chances of me as an average, broke down, poor citizen being able to do that is slim. Not nil, just very, very slim. The chance of the commander-in-chief and governor of one of the largest agricultural entities on planet Earth, the chances of them being able to do that with anything that they truly care about, much greater, much, much greater. In fact, I would say the only way that they wouldn't be able to be, effective on an issue is really out of lack of care, because it wouldn't be from lack of resource, lack of ability, right? Lack of concern. So when I analyze it and I look at the time, the resource, the fact that I'm not going to run for governor in this next one. We've got Lewis going to be running. We've got other people are running. It's probably going to be a total madhouse. But I'm thinking maybe the next one after that, because I know the issue like the back of my hand, and I know it very personally. And I've known for a very long time what needs to be done and how to get it done. And the only way to do that is to be in that top spot. And, it's got me thinking, one, about how Newsom hasn't done it, which says to me he's not gonna because he doesn't care. And two, that, the evaluation is very spot on, that we need someone from the homeless community to lead us and solve this problem. One, really, because it's going to take that sort of a person to find someone who's actually got the level of care and concern about this issue to really see it through. But also, two, it's going to be pertinent for all of California to have a little bit of a reworking on our inner systems as far as when the state gives funding to entities, maintaining some semblance of accountability that they are actually helping and not just pocketing, right? And a homeless person or someone who has at least been there and done that is pretty much the only person who's gonna have run into these agencies that pocket rather than help.
I just want to point out, so these are two videos. We posted them up in link. If you type in the titles, Women's Only Debate on Homelessness, Governor Candidates Meet Homeless Advocates, or Governor Candidates Present Plans to Fix Homeless Issue, directly to the Homeless Part 1. We've posted up the links. Here they are there. You can go to comments. You can check those out. I just showed you screenshots of LaQuinta Reynolds speaking to people informatively at both debates on the issue. You are the expert, in my opinion. Check out those videos. Here's the links one more time. You can see Quinn in the zone talking to people, or you can type in these titles and you can see Quinn's really informed on this. So Quinn, take us out. Last 5 minutes. What do people need to be thinking about homelessness? What should people be taking away from what they heard today? What's the most important message that you think people in California need to have right now on this issue? Quinn Reynolds.
Okay, without crying.
Without crying. No tears, no politics. That was my Tom Hanks reference. Hey, conspiracy theorists, I referenced Tom Hanks. Go ahead and give me a call. I know what you're going to say.
I think that we all need to get from beside ourselves. This situation definitely needs to get under control before it gets worse. As I mentioned, the eviction moratorium, we can't afford 7 million people being on the streets. We can't handle the 100,000 that we already have. So I think people need to stop assuming and making stereotypes that they want to be homeless, they're addicts. Get over that. You know, just dismiss me with that. These people need help, and it can happen to anybody, including you who are making these very same stereotypes. Get beside yourself. Stop being beside yourself, actually. The takeaway, we're in this together. It affects all of us directly or indirectly. And we all play a part and a role in this situation. So we can only take care of it if we're all involved in making sure this is taken care of. And I hope that people really take seriously the detriment and the safety issues involved with homelessness from both ends, from themselves and from non-homeless, and how it can make us a better place if we're all provided the same equality, human rights. We all deserve human rights. We're all human, so we all deserve human rights. So if we can work together and come together as a people, there isn't anything that we cannot resolve. Whatever we're faced, we can handle it.
I have nothing to do better than that. That's awesome. You said that perfectly. Just one last comment from Bobby. He's asking about when did we stop believing in the lesser two evils? I think that's the two-party system. You know, you always pick one that's better than the other. Yes, California believed back in 2014. We started in earnest February 2014 saying that we'd be better off independent. And we kind of didn't care who was in charge of the federal government. I mean, it started with Obama was president. Many of us liked Obama. And we said we think he tried, but we just said he's never going to be able to do the right things, even if you think he wants to, because the federal system won't let him. And, you know, there was a lot of things like that, marijuana, et cetera. Also, there was the time where Obama did say, I'm not going to police anybody on marijuana. And then he tricked us, and then he started doing mass arrests. So even the good guys do stuff like that occasionally. And I'm saying he's one of the best presidents out of all of them. But that's still where you get is the federal system holding us back. And then you go before him as George W. Bush with stem cell and international trade. And we had many trade deals blocked by Obama and by Bush, which isn't Obama's fault. It's the system he's part of, right? He doesn't get to make laws as he wants. He has a little box he gets to work within, and there's only so much he can do. And so what we said was, even if he's perfect, which I don't think he is, he's a human being, but even if he's perfect, he can't do everything we want. We didn't get the drought funding. We didn't get the recession funding. We didn't get our payments to the Fed settled because he can't do them. They're never going to let him. And then we go with Biden, then we go with Trump, and it's all the same thing. So we stopped believing back in February 2014 when we opposed Tim Draper, the billionaire's plan to split California into 6 states. We did a protest in Walmart. I had literally a trashy shirt on with holes and shorts because we didn't know what we were doing. This is February 2014. And we just said, California's a nation, let's stay together. And we got as much attention as the One California campaign. So Tim Draper was filing an initiative to split California into 6 states. The Sacramento government put together $250,000, and the top Republican and top Democratic strategist, Steve Maviglio, to do an anti-campaign against Tim Draper. Our ragtag little group got as much media publicity as them. So I want to repeat. One group had $250,000 and top political strategists, and they got as much media attention as a group of 5 dudes saying California's a nation. And that's how we got started back in February 2014, opposing Tim Draper's 6 States Initiative. If you look up Tim Draper's 6 States Initiative opposition on Ballotopedia or Wikipedia, you'll find us there. So going back to 2014, brother, we were already saying elect a Republican, elect a Democrat. We don't care. We want to have our own immigration policy, energy policy, climate change policy. We want to have our own air quality regulations, our own power grid. We want to be able to do our own coronavirus regulations, our own international trade regulations, our own marijuana regulations, and none of that's changed. And that's 2 Democrat presidents and 2 Republican presidents still saying the same thing, which means it's the system. So I'm not picking on any particular president. I'm saying it's the system. So that's when. All right, that'll be it. We do care. We are trying. We need to do more. I'll leave it there. Okay. We'll see you all Tuesday at 7. Every Tuesday at 7. That is our informal meeting. You don't have to dress up, and people can curse and drink and smoke, and we don't care. This is the formal meeting, all professional. Tuesday is the I get to say what I really think meeting. Okay, so there's a lot we don't say on this because this is the peach.
What do you mean, man? I thought this was the California show, brother.
What do you mean, man? Yeah. This is the. Well, thank you, Quint. That's an excellent point, and we'll look at that issue. And Tuesday's the dude, bro. It's bad. I went outside and this is what they did, right? So this is all nice packaged. Tuesday at 7 is honest, blunt, come as you will, open discussions. We don't even record and post most of them. Every once in a while we will, but there's a lot. We have these great discussions, and there's a lot of people say, well, I couldn't say that publicly. Okay, well, let's have the full
meetings. Clothing is still mandatory, but language monitoring becomes optional.
I dress like a beach bum. That's my normal thing. I like suits, and then I like dressing like a beach bum. I hate sleeves. I hate shoes. So I literally go nice suits to beach bum thing. That's me. So this is the suit thing. You're going to get beach bum mark on Tuesday. Come totally relaxed, chill. We want it to be fun. Activism is supposed to be mostly fun and a good time. And as Cassandra was pointing out, there's a lot of PC police. You got to watch yourself everywhere. Why can't we have open conversations? So we're trying to merge into that. Obviously, no bigotry is tolerated, no sexism, but off-color jokes, a little bit of here and there. Yeah, come on down. Hoodies and jeans. Let's make that the outfit. I think that's too many clothes, but hoodies and jeans. You got a hoodie, wear that hoodie. Wear the jeans. If you want to put the jeans on your head and then turn the hoodie upside down and wear them like shorts, do whatever you want. Come as you will. Tuesdays is informal. Yeah.
Sorry, Kaz, I saw they aren't alone. People care, and we are trying. I just wanted to say thank you. I needed to hear that today. And I know there's people out there that care because I care myself. Unfortunately, the people like us that do care, there's only so much we can do. We're doing this from our hearts. There's people like Newsom who's getting paid to do a job that he's not doing. We're doing things that should be done, and he's not even doing that and what he's paid to do. And not just him, other politicians who aren't doing their jobs. So I just want to say thank you for making that comment. I needed to hear that. And the key in that is people who care. So by non-actions, what does that tell you? Can you care by non-actions? Thank you, Cass.
Okay, that got intense, but that was awesome. I love bringing people together. I'm not gonna cry on film here, okay? So,
I'm not either.
yeah.
It's windy out here. It's the wind in my eye. You see the breeze? My hair is blowing. It's the wind. It's the wind. You're
Yeah,
right.
lots of pollen out today.
Yeah, there's all this pollen in this room is here. Oh man, it's bad. Yeah. That's why we like having the conversations. That's why we like having people be connected. I still think it says something that Newsom could never present his plan to the homelessness. Paffrath could never present his plan to the homelessness. He straight up lied to my face about it. And none of the candidates could actually do it. And us, Yes California, got 25% of all the candidates to at least be aware of the event. We got 5 to 7 of them. By the way, 2 of them did really well. Brandon and the doctor and McGowan came up at like 3 and 7%, which is not shabby at all. So maybe attending the homeless event helped boost them. And our question is, how come no one else can do this? Why couldn't any of the other candidates do this? Why couldn't the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party, not the Libertarian Party, not the Green Party? Why couldn't Gavin Duce it? I have a feeling of the answer. I'm just going to randomly click one of these banners, and I bet it's going to be the right answer. I'm randomly clicking. Just random click. Let's see. I have a feeling this is the right answer as to why. I'm calling to the universe. Random click. No idea which one I'm going to click. Oh, what does it say?
Right.
Oh,
Tell her what she's won, Bob.
But
Well, I think you
Marcus, who was out? Which person running for governor was out there when we had that event?
Larry Elders. And Larry,
how far was he from us?
1.5 miles. And he couldn't show up to our event when he was in the same city.
No, don't say he couldn't. Don't say he couldn't.
He did not.
He
was
wouldn't.
informed.
There's a difference between could and would.
He did not show.
He did not.
He was informed of the event. He was in the same city. It would have taken him 10 minutes to get there.
Less than 10 minutes.
And he had time to get there, and it was right in the same city. And one of the candidates went up and told him.
I know that he was informed because I am the person who reached out very personally, wrote a very personalized letter to him specifically, trying to make sure that he understands that our only interest is getting the issues covered and getting all of California educated on who's who and who's for what. And yeah, he chose not to show. There's a lot.
And, Newsom couldn't do it either. Newsom was seen cleaning out homeless camps, and then here's Elder. And Elder can't show up to the thing. However, after our event, Elder did attempt to go meet the homeless. So isn't it interesting that he couldn't show up to our event, and then right afterwards tried to make his own event? By the way, he was attacked, and that didn't go very well. Maybe he could have showed up at our event and actually done better. So I find it interesting that...
Ooh, that's not maybe, Marcus. That's not maybe. You can know without a doubt. Ours went off without a hitch, mainly because, someone
Quinn.
so smart and wonderful helped the planet, Quinn. But also, it was a outreach kind of an effort. And what his thing was, what he decided to do on his own wasn't an outreach, right? So the response wasn't, oh, you're here for us. The response was, oh, what do you want to do to us now? And rightfully so.
I love
We're gonna play a brand new game.
politician.
We're going to play a brand new game. I'm thinking
love
of 2 politicians, and you have to pick which one I'm thinking of, okay? It's either going to be Elder or Newsom. Neither one could meet. You have to. It's either going to be Elder or Newsom. You have to pick, okay? So guess who's that politician?
It was Biden.
300
And now
Americans.
for another round of Who's That Politician? In this corner, it's Gavin Newsom, and in this corner is Larry Elderberry Elder, also known as Larry Elders, if you don't know how to say his name. We're going to give a list of characteristics, and then you're going to find out who's the good one and who's the bad one. Let's get right to it. So first off, I'm a politician. I've lived in California my whole life. I've known that homelessness has been a problem for years, but I've never actually addressed it until the year I was trying to run. Another thing that about me, I never actually held any meetings with homeless people while running for office. And another thing about me, I was seen actively removing homeless people from homeless campus. Who's that politician? Quinn.
Governor Newsom.
Jason.
Yeah, I got to agree. That was Newsom all the way.
American leaders? No, we'll call it crappy leaders. Okay, we're going to change the name. Now, we'll do one more round of new. That's not called Who's That Politician? We're going to call it Crappy Leaders of California. So, I said that women only complain about sexism in the office place. They should just get over it. There's no real sexism. I also said that, slavery wasn't that bad for black people. They could have got out of it on their own. And then what I did not say is that the California people are too stupid to understand a computer model that will explain why we're doing COVID-19 shutdowns. And I didn't say that, but I said the other two things. Name that stupid politician. Quinn.
Larry Elder.
Jason.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pour me some elderberry wine on that one.
That's
Bob.
right. That's right. He did say some horribly racist, sexist stuff, but what he did not do was insult 40 million people by telling them they're too damn dumb to understand what decisions are going into making them affect. That actually came from Gavin Newsom, who insulted everyone in California. Okay, last round.
Let me add to that. He also
Sure.
said that women are not smarter than men when it comes to politics.
Newsom or Elderberry?
Elder.
Yeah. Elder's a racist. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. My point was just, we're comparing a guy who says really horrible stuff to the other politician who says everybody I rule over is too stupid to understand why I make the rules and you're too damn dumb and just do what I say. That's so much better. I mean, I don't like racist bigotry, but I'm like, really? These are our options? So,
Right?
Okay, last one. You live in a state, 40 million people, super diverse. The largest ethnic group is Latinos. And yet you were caught off guard because you assumed all the Latinos were going to vote for you, and you didn't realize that Latinos actually think for themselves, and some of them were going to vote for the other person. And in fact, you got angry at Latin people for not just voting in mass and choosing you because you assumed that all of them would automatically pick you, and you had literally no concept that they can think for themselves and make their own opinions. Name that crappy politician. Quinn.
I'm going to lean with Newsom on that one.
Jason.
Yeah, this one is truly difficult.
Yeah.
Who's Biden?
I have. Ooh, Kathy might have actually named it.
Wrong. Sorry.
So
thank you for
my answer, right? So this one's kind of difficult because we know elderberry surprise is full of all sorts of hot and steamy stuff, right? We also know that racism, bigotry, classism, they are all pretty much the same thing. So maybe our current governor's not racist, notably pretty sexist. Also philanderous, but that's beside the point. The classist, however, that does put him in the same category. So really, this one is a trick question. It could be either. So yes, I'm with Cassandra. I go C. It was Biden. Final answer.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The answer was Newsom, but it could also be Biden too, right? Because Biden did not show up in the Democratic primary. He was the only person not to do that, while the others did. And the reason that Joe Biden didn't show up was that his policy of locking Latino children in cages and inventing the policy of separating them from their children was going to be brought up to his face at the Democratic Party convention right before the election, and he didn't want to be overshadowed. Also, he's doing horrible with the Latino population. So where in the world is Kamala San Diego? Bring back that 90s classic. Yeah, we should. Last one for name that crappy leader. I'm governor. No, let me say this. I'm running for election. Take that back, because you didn't hear that. I'm running for election. And there's a recall election going on against me. And I don't want people to vote for that recall election. So in a population that's 60% minority, I say that everybody who backs the recall is a white supremacist bent on white supremacy and who loves Donald Trump. Even though half of the people backing the recall are Latinos who did not like Donald Trump and obviously can't be white supremacists. Name that politician! Quinn, who do we think that is? Who is that, Quinn? Who do we think that is? Is it Biden? Biden said all the Latinos in California are white supremacists? Who is the Senate? That's close. That's kind of good.
No, it's funny because when you said it, I remember seeing. I just can't connect the dots on that. Can you pass me? Let them go first.
Yeah, Jason. Who said that everybody who backs the recall must be a white supremacist who loves Donald Trump, even if half of them had brown skin and did not like Donald Trump? Who said that? Who lied?
Just because I'm a huge Star Wars super nerd, in response to Cassandra's Senate comment, I am the Senate.
Yeah. That's right. You like that Star Wars reference, right? That was good.
Yeah. Now, as far as an actual honest answer, I would definitely have to go with it was actually the combination of Newsom and co. So we saw such stars as Kamala Harris, now sitting vice president, as well as Joseph Biden, the current sitting president of the United States of America. We saw senators such as Bernard Sanders, who I used to have such great respect for and hold in just the absolute highest regard. We saw Senator Warren. We saw our very own beloved Alex Padilla. All these familiar faces came out and parroted the same talking point. Now, I am mostly white, so, and when I take my shirt off, people go blind, so pretty sure I'm as white as it gets. But, there's a touch of Cherokee in there. That being said, I'm still not a white supremacist, right? And being called a white supremacist when you are white. So for you, Marcus, right? You're like, dude, I'm Latino. You're dumb for calling me a white supremacist. With me, when they call me a white supremacist, I have to have some proof or something that I'm not.
Right. That's not fair.
It's kind of scary. Yeah, it's like after World War II, there were Germans who came back to Germany and people were persecuting them for, well, you're a German. Your people did this. And they were like, well, actually, we just got back last year. we left before the war because we saw that things were going downhill. we took the lifeboat. It's a very scary prospect, but it's very real, and one must make a choice, which is why I never ever laugh at, certain types of off-colored jokes, right?
We're going to go to
Even when
one
you
more.
tell me I can, I still can't, because as a white person, I need to maintain the utmost clarity with folks that, like, I am not now a white supremacist, and I will not ever, I do plan to run for elected position someday, right? I will not ever abuse the authority of office to further such disgusting beliefs.
Right.
And I can swear that to all of California.
Yeah, of course not, dude. You're California. We talked about this, homie. So, and I'm glad we brought up, the discrimination against Caucasian people here has to end. And that includes, by other white people, too, white people saying that you're a white supremacist when you're not. It's a good thing. It's just as insulting, right? You're a white supremacist. No, I'm not. Well, I said you were.
Yeah, when it's the governor, the president, the vice president, senators.
Yeah. And I get that. I'm Caucasian. My father's white, but he spoke fluent Spanish. And I didn't really spend most of my time with him. I spent most of the time with my mom and like 5 opinionated Latinos who are very big and lots of Spanish, lots of tacos, etc. So, and the smooth part of my speaking is it's from my mom, the Mexican side. It's not from my dad. My dad's like an Okie, so my mom is the suit, all that. So, yeah, but it is really insulting to have to tell your mom, who's full blood Mexican, you're a white supremacist who loves Donald Trump. I mean, she cried when Donald Trump got elected. And I personally thought that was insulting. And I can only imagine, Jason, that the insult is similar for you. Let's go to a funny topic real quick. Who's that crappy leader of America? I didn't do that so great, but here we go. I sent people to deaths in nursing homes. I'm also a little handsy. 2-part question.
Oh, I know this one. It's
Well,
the
you have to
one
wait, we have to go
governor
quick
who
first.
just
We're going
got
quick.
booted
Ladies
out
first.
over in New York.
Okay, but call me a peach smoothie. I don't know. Who are we talking about? Okay, so Quinn and then Jason. Quinn, Jason's already given you a tip. Peach smoothie.
Hi.
People in nursing homes.
I was
Little
going to say Trump
handsy.
from the first question.
Okay, that's not correct, Quinn. I'm sorry.
I know, but I was being
Let's go.
being
I mean,
facetious.
yeah. Quinn, you have to get all parts correct. Yes.
Oh.
Little handsy, Trump, totally. But it was a little handsy. Call me a peach smoothie. I put old folks in nursing homes where they died. Who am I?
Well, if it's not Trump, then probably Biden. But he's not Peach, though.
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
think it was
sorry,
Trump.
Quinn. I have so much respect for you, but that is wrong. You lost this round. I apologize. Let's go to Jason. Jason, who's our mystery crappy political leader?
Well, so throwing Trump in there does actually change it. I was like 99% certain that it's the now former governor, the deposed governor, the guy who got fired from New York for being handsy, right?
Cuomo?
But
Yes. Yes. Cuomo.
Cuomo.
Yeah, Cuomo. Thank you. I was already forgetting his name. I dislike him so much.
Impeach
so
threw
I
me
was thinking it was Cuomo because of the nursing home thing. And then the handsy thing came along, and I was like, okay, well, it still fits. But the peach and Trump comes along.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't forget the articles closest to home here in California, where it also happened, where our current leader was, noted for having slept with his best friend's wife. I mean, come on now.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah. You think it's Cuomo, but it applies to Trump, and then it comes back around applying to Newsom. Like, how many?
The peach threw me
Yeah.
off. Yeah, and then that's why I went from Trump to Biden.
Okay, so if we go, so it's either the Senate, it's about deaths in nursing homes. It's a little handsy, two-part answer, but then we get a third part here, peach smoothie. Apparently the peach smoothie threw people off. It's Cuomo. Oh, no, hold on. It's Whitmer and Cuomo.
Whitmer and Cuomo.
I totally missed Whitmer. Nice.
Nice.
Totally missed that one completely. I think we all missed that.
Yeah.
Mario.
I was thinking
I don't know. I
that
still
there's
think
another
Trump
one.
should be involved in that
Okay, well,
because
hold
he's
on
blamed
here.
for the COVID all together. So I think he's.
But he didn't put old people in homes and get them killed.
Well, he put all the hundreds of thousands that died as a result of COVID. That's why he's played a role in that still.
Yeah, he did
Because he never
definitely
he never
help to
handled the COVID
steer.
properly when it first came out.
We're gonna go
Yeah,
with
and-
Whitmer and Cuomo and Trump.
Thank you.
And he helped to steer the narrative in the beginning that it was nothing to worry about, right?
Exactly.
It wasn't
He
a
downplayed
serious disease. Yeah. Had we been appropriately concerned about something with a contagion level, of like
Beetlejuice.
8 to 9. Oh, well, Beetlejuice is also the name.
Oh, 3 times. You just said it 3 times. He's gonna hear it. Did you see that? That's why Quinn said it, and then I said it, and I was like, is someone gonna make this up? That was 3 times. Beetlejuice is coming. So I guess Chicago will not have a mayor since Beetlejuice will be appearing on our show since we called him out 3 times across the universe. I think this is referring to Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Who?
Lori Lightfoot, I believe is her name. Chicago mayor.
Oh.
No, she's going to come from you. She's going to come for you, Jason. So I guess Mayor Lori Lightfoot's going to be coming after you, Jason. I'm not sure because it's close to the holiday. So watch out for that. I guess we lost Quinn.
Yeah, and it's all good because I'm interfaith. So, I'm down with the pagans. I'm just as down with the pagans as I am with the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians, and the Buddhists, and the Hindus, and the Sufis.
Supposed to Google image search Beetlejuice mayor of Chicago. Let's do that real quick. Okay. Beetlejuice mayor of Chicago. I think I know what this is. What the hell? Hold on one second. Let me make sure this is appropriate.
Voted for this person.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
We will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period.
Mayor
There should be
Beetlejuice.
nothing unambiguous about that. Don't make us. Need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period.
Mayor
There should be
Beetlejuice.
nothing unambiguous about that. Don't make us treat you like a criminal. We will shut you down.
Okay. I guess here's another one. One second, I need to go to this video.
She said that on Wednesday, but the siege I'm speaking about.
All right. Well, so if you type in Mayor Lightfoot, Chicago Mayor Lightfoot Beetlejuice, let's do an image search. Oh my God, this photo right here does look a little bit like Beetlejuice. There. Yeah, no comment. Wow. That's yeah, the eyes. Okay. Well, there you go. You
Oh, okay. Well,
that was pretty good.
yeah.
That was good. Yeah. I mean, she has the eyes that look like, yeah. So my favorite is just look at Lightfoot arguing with her. It's called the elders. So they call city council members like elders. And yes, you told me. And yeah. Look up Lightfoot Beetlejuice. It's pretty damn funny. She has very similar expressions. Not talking about her politics or whatever. And then if you want to have a good time, look up Lightfoot argues with elders. Not Larry Elders. Over there in Chicago, city council members are called like elders. Some old term. Lightfoot has gotten into a lot of heated arguments with those people where she goes at it with them, which I'm not used to seeing. Typically, you don't have mayors argue with their own city council members, but not over there. So entertaining stuff. Okay, that was a good one. All right, that's basically it. We've shown you some silly politicians.
Did you get my text, Marcus?
Oh, hold on. Let me get a text here real quick. Quinn says that she thought Jason was black or mixed. So Jason, hey, you know.
Oh, no, not that text.
Oh,
Oh.
you said a text. You said, did you get my text?
I said I sent more than one text.
Sorry. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, that's Quinn with Beetlejuice. There's Quinn with Beetlejuice. Yeah. So a Quinn apparently has met Mayor Lori Lightfoot and took photos with her. That's interesting. I didn't know you were so well connected. I'm impressed. Certainly a major player. Sorry about saying that, Jason, you're part black or mixed. I think that'd be cool. So I'm all about people mixing races. That's because I am myself. Right, Quinn? So is your son, right? Diversity.
Yep.
That's
He's
right.
Black and Dutch. Black
And to that I say, orderly kanda. That means like right on. So, okay, we are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Quinn met the mayor. So I mean, you saw it here. That is a picture.
I was going to post it in here, but I didn't know how to do it.
Let me see if I can email it real quick. So.
I can only do like comments over here, but I didn't know how to. I can upload it.
I'll do it. Just give me like 1 second.
Okay.
I'll post this up. Okay. Orale, Warita. Orale. Yes, she does know the mayor. Let's take a look. So apparently Quinn is very well
You guys will get me in
connected.
trouble for that.
So here we go. You're seeing it exclusively here at Yes, California.
Really?
We're going to show you Quinn Reynolds, well connected with Mayor Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago. Here is the hard evidence being brought to you,
Wow.
unfiltered. The stuff the news simply won't show you.
Oh my God.
There it is. This is obviously Quinn, as we know her. And this is clearly Mayor Lori Lightfoot. They're probably talking about vaccine mandates at that moment.
Oh my God.
I noticed both of you don't have masks on, so I'm going to report you to Fuhrer Newsom. I'm sorry, Governor Newsom. That was my apologize. Okay, so I think we've gotten enough people in trouble. I think we caused enough chaos for one day. Quinn, we ruined your reputation and your standing with the community, so I call it a full day. You're welcome. Done. I did my deed. Sorry.
You're
I mean,
so bad.
it gets, I mean, because it gets so serious, right? Like it gets so, we're talking about national divorce. We're talking about countries breaking off. We're talking, and then you got to have a little bit of levity because we do the
Sometimes
serious
you
stuff.
just gotta
serious.
cut loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I saw a comment earlier. Well, actually, here's here's one first is from Mehran in Iran, I guess. Long live the free republic of California.
Yeah.
There was another one referencing a World War III from same poster. World War III could help secede from an independent. Basically, like if World War III kicks off, it may help be a catalyst for an independent California. Our hope, the reason why we do everything as 100% legal, 100% peaceful, is because most of California doesn't really support war, and though a lot of our efforts and energies and whatnot do get siphoned off to America's war machine, most Californians individually are not for such a way of life. We choose to be more cultural and agricultural and economical, right?
Sorry, Jason.
Rather than, just warmonger.
We need to clear
the Viking pillaging, right? So
we need to clear up two things real quick, equally important. First, Cassandra, I've seen you. You're not translucent. You're güerita, and that's what makes you awesome. If that counts as you trans now, I don't know. I'll leave that to other people to decide. You're just kidding. Well, too late. I didn't, looks like you were serious. The other equally important issue is this one where Jason's talking about there's a lot of people around the world, and maybe they like CalExit for their own reasons. We are not for decentralizing America, tearing down America. We're not for that. What we're saying is that we've noticed America's become unstable all on its own, going back to 2014. And for the last 6 to 7 years, we've said, hey, folks, if you see a ship sinking, are you an expletive idiot? If you look at your buddy and go, hey, there's water up to our ankles, can we talk about building a life raft? I mean, just in case the ship sinks. And they go, idiot. Yeah, the ship's sinking. Yeah, the water's up to our knees. But you want to talk about a life raft? That's quitting talk. No, it's not. That's called sanity. When a ship's sinking, yeah, you try to bilge it out, but you also build that life raft just in case. So to everybody out there who wants the destruction of America, we're not for that. We're peaceful. We're hippies. We protest the Vietnam War and the Iraq War and the Afghan War, and we try to get our kids out of recruiting stations. So you're talking to the wrong folks. We're a bunch of hippies. Now, you need us to shut down the world's 5th largest economy, laying down in the middle of the streets or middle of the freeways, and deregulate and disrupt and blow up every stock market on the world, so that the fact that most or 50% of the world's economy calls the president within 24 hours and tells them, you better do what those Californians want. Yeah, we'll do that. We did it with the Iraq War. We didn't need any guns. We didn't need to break anything. We also did with Donald Trump coming to California. We can shut this place down like that. All it takes is all of us walking out into the streets, shutting it down. We did it twice in a row. We did it with Bush. We did it with Trump. No, we don't need weapons. We're the world's 5th largest economy. And yes, the Prime Minister of Japan and the EU and everybody, within 24 hours of the Iraq War protest to California shutting down the world's 4th largest financial center and the world's 5th largest trading hub, LANSF, George Bush reversed himself within 24 hours because world leaders were calling him and saying, you're going to tank our economy and we will hurt you if you do that, allies or not. When you have cash, you have power. People go to guns because they don't have real power. Iran, North Korea, Russia, they have to use weapons because they don't have money power. China doesn't necessarily need to threaten people with money. They just buy them out. The real threat from China is not going, look at our new warship. It's that John Cena has to apologize to the people of China for speaking his mind. And everybody's okay with that in California because they're afraid of losing Chinese money. Money is power. We are the world's 5th largest economy. Money will get us out. And we can shut down this economy anytime we choose. We also make this economy. I know a lot of people are talking about leaving to Texas. Go. But this idea that Miami and Houston are talking about they're going to be the next Silicon Valley, no, you're not. Everybody has tried to recreate Silicon Valley. Israel, Beijing, Indonesia, India. They've been doing it for 15 years. Guess who's succeeded? No one. There's a reason why people from around the world who are independent thinkers and creative and adventurous come to California. And that goes back to at least the 1960s. Miami and Houston do not have that historical legacy and do not have that culture. It's more than
and
just
part of it's the law too. They don't
Yeah.
have the legal systems and structurings that we have here that allow for people to think for themselves, think outside of the box, imagine something different that we could do to, I don't know, go to the moon.
This is the place that does that. They don't have the cultures. They don't have the people, and you're not going to get them because I'm sorry, a lot of immigrants like it here, and the moment they experience bigotry and racism, they coming right back. There was a Indian friend of mine, and his uncle made a lot of money here, and then he thought, I'll go to Tennessee and invest because it's cheaper. They swindled him out of all of his cash, called him a couple racist names. He never did business outside of California again. And if you want to talk about how Latinos are treated in Texas, I got a ton of stories for you. That's just two. So Cass is right. This is not about ripping California apart. This is about cutting off the cancer before it becomes a terminal. We need to ask who is a Republican, who has the power. And I do want to point out that here was Moran from Iran, and he originally made that comment about weakening America. And we said, we don't agree. We're not for that. And now, Moran, thank you for changing your tune. We are for peaceful independence. We are not for hurting anybody. We are not advocating for the destruction of America. We simply have eyeballs. That's the difference. One is I see it coming versus I want it to happen and I'm trying to. Two widely different things. No one's interested in that. I have family in all four branches of the military. My grandfather fought in the Pacific for freedom. I love them for doing that. I just think America launches a bunch of unnecessary wars to put down people that didn't have to. But I still support the service members. I still want goodness for everybody. We don't want anything bad. We don't want America ripped apart. But we also think, come on, we've talked to most conservatives in America. They think California's a nutbag crazy place that doesn't even act like America anymore. And when we institute our ideas like transgender bathrooms, they're like, we were still working on climate change. So we're here at California and they're still debating abortion in America, okay? They're still debating climate change. They're still debating oil pipelines. We're here. They're here. And then we force them to look at our issues here, and it just clogs it up. It'd be like France telling Germany the only laws you get to talk about are what we think is important here in France. How long would that work in Germany? At what point would the German people go, look, not trying to sound like Hitler, but you ain't German. We're German. We have issues that are important to us in Germany, and they're different than what you do in France, and that's great. Do your French thing. We're going to do our German thing. And trying to constantly handle your French issues in Germany, that's what we see California as. So glad we got through to you. Jason, thanks for calling it out. Cass is right. We're right. Jason's right. I think we all agree. We want what's best for California. We're talking about an evolution of childhood to adulthood. We're talking about familiar relations. We're talking about a Canada-America partnership. And for everybody around the world who thinks this is going to weaken America, I want to point something out. Canada and America fought in Afghanistan together. Canadian boys and girls died in Afghanistan protecting U.S. Marine supply columns. The highest outmarriage rate of Canadians to any other country is Americans. Nobody wants to be an American in Canada. But those boys and girls are willing to die and bleed in the sand right next to an American, and they're willing to have children with Americans and make them lifelong partners. But Canada doesn't want to be the 51st state. That's what we're talking about. So we'll have borders. We'll be different. Californians are going to be marrying, falling in love, dating, having children, getting into stupid arguments with Americans. They'll be trading back and forth. They'll be co-investing in things. And I guarantee you there will be some sort of conflict that California boys and girls, and they will be sent to, and they will die alongside Americans. It's probably going to be few and far between because Americans like war way more than California. But this idea that we would never see ourselves in some sort of coalition, like maybe fighting piracy in Somalia or the first year of the Afghan invasion, it's there. So if you are encouraging the Cal-Exit movement because you think it has something to do with weakening America, or you perceive that we are interested in that at all, you are dead wrong, and this is the wrong place for you to join. That's not what motivates us. It never has been. We like the military people. We just disagree with the use of them abroad. So you're not going to convince us.
And if I can cut in real quick and just say thank you, Miran, for, hearing our words and then clarifying, with just the long live the free Republic of California. I thank you for that. And I have my coffee cup here in hand, and so I am doing a toast. It says you're from Iran, so salam wa alaikum. I know it's Arabic. I don't know Farsi really, but cheers and greetings to you, and may all people across the world be free.
And we will have to deal with adversity and conflict. And full disclosure, we made a video, Yes California, last year. And it was to the people, not the government, to the people. Not the government, to the people, not the government, to the people of Iran. And we were widely criticized by the Sacramento Bee, who could not get my name or title correct, by the way. So I was in the video, and they couldn't get my name right, while the editorial board of Sacramento Bee slammed me for doing that. And what I asked them in the article was, why didn't you criticize the speech? You criticized that I made a speech to the people of Iran. You never criticized what I said in the speech. And so I'd ask everybody to watch the video, because you know what I said in the speech? California is full of Jewish people and Black people and Latino people and Iranian people, and we love them all. And our culture is an amalgamation of Iranian culture and Black culture and Latino culture and Arab culture and Asian culture. And so we don't view Iranians in California as separate.
And Armenian.
Ethiopian, Armenian, Hmong. I was saying we in California, maybe America views Iranians as foreigners and different. You're messing me up, Cass, a little bit. Yeah, I was about to make like a really serious point. Okay, this is wrong. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, they couldn't get my name right, so they had my picture, but then they're like some dude, and then they kept mentioning Lewis, and they act like he's president running everything when it's me. Yeah, California is the melting pot, and that was the speech, and that was the thing that we got criticized. They're like, look at this connection to Iran, and I'm like, first, it wasn't to the government; it was a speech to the people saying that maybe America views Iranians as weirdos. We have a ton of Iranians here, like 1 million. They are us. Their culture is us. I don't support their government. I don't support what Iranian people said against Israel. I think Israel should exist. But Iranian people and Iranian culture are now California culture. And we don't view them as different. We view them as Californians. I don't speak Iranian, but they are us. Like, I mean, we eat certain foods. We have certain sayings because they're here. Same things with the Armenians and the Thai and the Vietnamese and the Chinese and the El Salvadorans and the Mexicans. And that's all I said. And the Sacramento Bee editorial board could mention absolutely none of that, or what the format of the speech was, completely ignore it, get my name wrong, and then act like we did something else directed to the government. And so that's what I say. It's like, hey, look at the slander. They can't even acknowledge what we did. What was so horrible about telling people in a foreign country that we love your culture and that you're not seen as weirdos when you come here and we view your children as our children? That's what the speech was about. They couldn't mention it. They had to slam the speech and not get my name right. And so what I wonder is, Sacramento's the capital of California. This was written by the editorial board. Do you represent California? This is the melting pot. We're about diversity. How come the top newspaper in the capital of the world's 5th largest economy and the people who run it couldn't celebrate our message of diversity at all while attacking our performance of that message? They said the whole thing was wrong. The way to do that, Sacramento Bee editorial board, was to say that we got it way wrong in our delivery, but that they thought was correct. You couldn't even do that. Do you support diversity? Do you speak for California? Do you share our values? Also, homies, I noticed Sacramento Bee editorial board, and you know how I feel. All right, Cass, Jason, you know what's up. Most of you guys were white in the editorial board. Why couldn't you acknowledge that a Latino was president? And how come you couldn't get my Latin name spelled correctly? Is it because Marcus is so hard? And I got to say, the other thing is, like, in the newspapers, thanks, Quinn. You know, the newspapers constantly go, oh, it's Lewis. It's Lewis is running everything. Lewis is running everything. Oh, the guy in Russia. Since when? I wrote the book in 2012. Tom Alois, the guy, the well-known reporter, wrote about my book. My book was on foreign policy. My book had foreign policy scholars endorse it. I was the research director. I was the president. I wrote the speech to Iran. I was the one who directed the embassy in Russia. And yet, no. The Latin boy, he's not running the show. It's the white boy. He's calling the shots. He's making all the decisions. He's really the thinker. Lewis does not have a published foreign policy book. He does not have interviews with 20 different foreign policy scholars. He never got an endorsement of his book by a foreign policy scholar. He never endorsed the foreign policy ideas I suggested. He was not the research director. He did not admit the thing. He did not get the first article. So how come so many newspapers can't acknowledge that it was the poor half-beaner that figured this stuff out? And it's always got to be the white boy. I love white people. I am half white. I love my father, but a little bit of racist, maybe. Just a little bit. You can't acknowledge that it was a minority who figured this out, plotted the whole thing. They still won't do that. 35 newspapers still act like I don't run nothing. I'm just some, pimple on the side of Lewis's neck. I love Lewis. Lewis taught me everything I know about marketing. And if any of you know me, I have backed up Lewis. That is my brother from another mother. I have had his back. I have never turned on him. I have supported him. We did have a hiccup, but we handled it like men, straight up. And then we came back together, cried and hugged each other, whatever. It was there. I never turned on him. I love him. I've slept in the same bed with him. Not like that. It was late. It was late at night. We're both tired. You're just like, can we get another bed? No. Thanks, Cass. Is that going to fix it? I just need to get more.
You opened that door and you walked right through it.
I did walk into it. I've slept in the same bed with Louis Marinelli on many occasions, and I loved it.
Nothing's wrong with that.
We were tired. We didn't want to buy another bed. And I smoked a joint, and then I was like, okay, I've never slept in the same bed with another man who wasn't my brother or father as a child, but I'm really tired, and I'm about to pass out. So whatever, dude. And I was like, if you grab me, just don't, be gentle, okay? So I don't feel it in the morning. I don't know if he did. I'm a heavy sleeper, so who knows what happened.
Your prince is coming out.
Joking. I'm joking. So I need to get a bigger tan. There's 6 whole letters in my name. I'm going to change my name to Boom Freaka.
Come on.
Is that it has more letters. It's more is that not a good call? Boom Freaka Ruiz Evans. Like, then they'll never get my name wrong. They'll know who I am. So okay, yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to go with like the 26-part name, his lordship Marcus Maximilian Ruiz Gaius Renatus?
No.
Let's see. Think of some more titles we could
change
throw
my
in.
name. Boom Freaka Ruiz Evans. Cass is right, and I'm going to get a tan. So you're going to see me. I'll have a darker tan. I'm going to go get tan right now. I'm going to get like a nice Trump tan where it's like super orange, and you can clearly tell from a mile out.
Some lip fillers.
Yeah. And I'm going to get that fake white teeth cap to put in. And I'll change my name to Boom Freaka. That's more than 6 letters. It should knock this out of the park. And then maybe I'll actually get acknowledged as who I am.
Maybe even worse so.
Marcus Atillo Warandes. Nice. Marcus
Oh.
Atillo. Nice. Did you see this? Do you see this stuff I'm putting up with? You see this?
Wow.
You can't read that. You ain't Mexican. That's what he's trying to say.
Marcos Castillo Warandes. Marcos Castillo Warandes. Marcos Castillo Warandes. Yes, Moran, that's Spanish. Really bad Spanish because I'm third generation. So let's see if I passed. If I passed the Latino test. So this was the test. I had to say this. I think I did it right. Let's see if I did it right. Oh, I guess I did it. So apparently I failed that one. Ouch. We need a new name. All right, so that's homework for everybody. Boom Freaka isn't going to work. Apparently I'm demasiado uno güero hablar español. Bueno, I can speak. Yeah. No me habla bueno porque no practicar bastante. Generación 3, lo siento. A todos lo siente. I've learned to say I'm third generation and I don't speak very good. You could have the green card back. You are on fire. You're on fire, girl.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Cassie.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Wow. Don't stop. And by the way, look, we just made a friend. So someone in Iran is laughing their behind off right now at this. So yeah. I am Marcus, and apparently I'm white. So that's good to know. Found that out today. It's cool. A lot of people think that's hilarious. So alien school. Yes, end of my white reign, end of my Latin reign. Now I'm pure white. So now when they call me a white nationalist, now I really got to be worried. I'm like, oh no. All right, I better go home. My Mexican mom. Hold on real quick. Mom. Yeah, I'm not on the team anymore. No, I know you're Mexican. Yeah, I know you birthed me. No, they just told me I'm not Mexican anymore, so it's over. No, I still love you, but I can't stand next to you in public, especially at Walmart. There's Trump supporters there. I'm not going to do it. You understand, right? It's cool.
Tell her they're trying to revoke some card.
Yeah, I was say they revoked your privileges.
It's Mark now. It's Mark now.
I love that one.
It's Mark Evans. Hey, everybody. I'll just get more. I'll stay out of the sun.
Oh, wow. You just did that really well.
Hey, everyone. It's Mark Evans. Hey, everyone. This is Mark Evans. I'm just here talking about succession. Hey, live. This is Mark Evans. This is my normal talking voice. Well, yes, I love white bread and the Dalton family and the Goo Goo Dolls. I'm just coming up with no. Okay, save the rest for Tuesday. Yeah, you're ready for Backyard Grill Up. I'm tired of being stuck indoors. I love the fact that we have laughed our behind off and that we have people also laughing themselves off in other continents. I think that's great. So. All right, that's going to be it for today's show. We got really serious there at the beginning. Yes, I am getting my New Balance sneakers ready because, hold on.
And the Tofurkey dogs.
Hey, does everybody have a gallon-sized jar of mayonnaise and some New Balance sneakers? Perhaps a plain bologna sandwich. Boy, I love that show, Dukes of Hazzard. Is that still on TV? This is Mark Evans. No? Oh, we can't do that? Sorry.
That was a knee slapper.
Okay, sorry.
Super cringe.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, I'm doing what I can. So I already informed my Mexican mother that I left the team. So here we go. Okay.
Yeah, totally. If you come on over, we can grill up these new Tofurkey dogs from Genio. I've heard they're the best.
Tofurkey dogs. Yeah.
You know, the gluten-free, non-GMO, no soy, no additives, no spices because
was
they might,
funny.
interfere with digestion.
Yeah, it's got. I'm sorry, folks, but
I mean, that's how
you didn't
white
see the
bread
show.
mayo
Watch
used
the
to
beginning.
happen.
It was super serious, national force, and then we went to homelessness and how it's not being fixed. And then I'm sorry, we're humans. I will always deal with the subjects at the level they need to be dealt with, but sometimes you got to laugh. I mean, this is not supposed to be horrible and sad all the time. Okay, here's my new name,
Mark.
Mark from accounting. That's so white. Wow, that's good. Hey, everybody, it's Mark from accounting. Hey, I got these ham sandwiches. Nope, just plain bread, mayonnaise, and bologna. That's all you need. That's all we need. Okay. Yeah, watch the show. You're going to go, what the hell happened? They were like on point, super serious. And then it just went, pull up, Mav, pull up. Goose, are you back there? Pull up. That's a Top Gun reference. Quinn knows what I'm talking. You got that, right, Quinn? The Top Gun? Yeah. Pull up, Mav. Pull. Does that sound wide enough? Pull up, Mav. Pull up. Pull up, Mav. Pull up. Hey, everybody, it's me. Pull up, Mav.
Oh my God.
All right. We'll end it
The
there.
thing to be worried about is when the aircraft responds, "I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave."
Yeah. Okay. No más hablo como los sueros. Hablo solamente como uno latino, pero uno Californian, como este. This is how I normally talk when I wake up first thing in the morning. This is my normal speaking voice. I approach everyone in this voice and tempo all the time. In no way is this fake or just for television. I do need the horn rim glass. You're going to make me look like that dude on MSNBC, the guy that looks like Rachel Maddow if she was a guy. There's a dude on MSNBC that looks exactly like Rachel Maddow.
He's the dude who follows her up nowadays.
Yeah. So,
The
hey, everybody.
same haircut, same glasses, same suit, same everything. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. It's Mark. It's Mark from accounting. It's me. Send me your figures. Okay. Be nice to me. Is that good? I'm really making a fool of myself today. I don't know what's happening to me. I think it's that we're doing great. Our movement's doing great. Like, because a lot of times they think that we're silly and this is crazy. National divorce is all over the news. So we're the only game in town that's been telling people this is coming. It's all over the news. And we're the only group that's covering. You are not at a discoteca, Huerita. I know. Are you really right now? Okay. And we're covered homelessness, and we're dedicated to doing it. It does not get the coverage it deserves. I was exceptionally proud of our ability to host a conference with the homeless, with the candidates, and to do a follow-up discussion. And we've had a couple of candidates continue to talk about that, and we continue to discuss this. And also, nobody's pointing out that Gavin Newsom is trying to trick everybody into thinking he's fixing this when he's not. Look, we're progressives. I mean, some of us like Trump, and that's cool, and I love you. My stepdad, too. But it's also the fact that we got to be real. California taxes and regulations are too high. Newsom's a little bit out of step. It's got to get fixed. All right. And we're making people around the world laugh. I love it. That's going to be it. If you are at the discoteca, drink a Tecate for me. If you're not at the discoteca, why? Get over there. Start drinking some drinks and get over there. And then celebrate diversity in California, but also we love California. We love California values. But there is such a thing as holding government to account. There is such a thing as holding officials to account. There is such a thing as being honest when people on our team don't do the right thing. And there is such a thing as if you want people to believe that you are the person to follow and that your path is correct, you cannot lie to them about other things. So as much as we are dedicated to saying that California is an independent country, perhaps is the best goal, we have to be honest with all of the other problems that exist. We can't simply paint a picture of fairy tales and unicorns and then provide this one outrageous idea. The only reason that we get taken seriously for having an outrageous idea is that we're so damn serious about everything else and transparent. I get a lot of criticism for being transparent. A lot of people I respect, who say, you put way too much out there. You cover way too much. You let people know what you're thinking. Because if we don't do that, they'll never trust us. We came to the conclusion that California needs to be independent, and it is the best solution. And we believe when you look at the facts, you'll come to the same conclusion. But we never believed that you could trust us to even have that conversation if it appeared as though we'd back up anything California did and make any lie hold simply because we need to stay in popularity. We're here to being honest. We're here to being transparent. We've been saying the same thing since Barack was president, through Trump and through Biden, and our message has never changed. Look into it. We're being honest. And let's go to, I'm not sure, I think that's someone dancing at the discoteca, and then someone is drinking at a discoteca. I guess they have discotecas in Iran. Hey, good for you guys. That was a knee slapper. All right, we're going to end it there. Quinn, we'll bring you back. You saw our discussion on national divorce. You saw our excellent insight into what Governor Newsom is doing or not doing, or the lack of action about homelessness. You saw political analysis from multiple people, some of whom experienced homelessness, some of whom are experts in the field, about what they think that means with the governor. Then we went into a fun round of name that horrible politician with California politicians and New York politicians. And then we finally ended with a discussion about the need to support diversity in California and to stop picking on each other, to recognize that all the peoples and all the cultures here are important, and they all make us Californians. Thank you and good night. I will see you all Tuesday at 7, and we'll have even more laughs.
Adios, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was good. I mean, that was really got me. It's Mark from accounting. Hey. Okay.
Thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You are my friend, and I can't fix everything you're dealing with, but we found the situation with you is the same with the candidates, and it's the same with us, and it's the same with the other secession movements we met in America. These things are happening. They are real problems, and the people who are actually informed of them and dealing with them are simply not talked to by the mainstream media. We have made incredible connections and incredible alliances simply by doing this, creating a professional platform for people to speak about real events that are happening. The fact is that you don't get interviewed. The fact is that they don't cover the horrible situation in Lancaster, which was called the worst homeless situation in all of California. The fact is the politicians do not meet homeless. The fact is that the media did not meet with the politicians. And the fact is the media will not talk to us in California, even though 32% of Californians said they were for secession. They will not talk to the Texas nationalist movement, even though they're in the news for proposing secession. And they will not talk to the Mike Sylvia from New Hampshire, who also legally proposed secession. Whether you like the idea or not, these are historic events. They were done through proper channels, and they're newsworthy. And all we have to do is see the fact that many newsworthy items simply never get covered. And that's why we're all here. There's a reason, there's a thread that runs through all of us that lines up our secession talk, our homeless talk, our recognition of Gavin Newsom not doing his job, and everything else. The media is controlled, and it will not provide all the true facts. That's why you have to come to hear Yes California. We love presenting information that you won't see anywhere else, and we love making predictions that no one else is willing to and having them come right. We've done it recently, and we'll continue to do it again. Thank you, and good evening.